Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome to another tutorial. In this tutorial, we are building a portfolio website using Flutter. So this is our portfolio website and we are building this from scratch in this tutorial. So as you can see, this is how it looks on desktop, and for mobile, it will look a little bit different. Basically, our portfolio website is fully responsive. If you check it on mobile, it will work just fine without any overflow issues, and on desktop it works just fine as well. So regardless of the window width, it will work without any overflow issues, so basically on any device. So as you can see, let's actually check out the desktop version first. So we have some navbar buttons, each of which corresponds to the sections we have created here. So this is skills section and project section, where we have work projects and hobby projects. And as you can see here, we have a card per project, and on each card we have these small buttons as well. So basically these buttons, when you press on them, they will open the actual project on Play Store, App Store, or on the web based on the icon that is visible on the card. Okay, for example, we can actually tap on any of the projects. Let's open our Play Store application. So it will open the Play Store on the web on the new tab, and you can see this is the actual project I created. So I can close it, and this is the project section. And we have here contact section as well, where we have a form with name and email, and you can type some message and tap on the get in touch button and it should send an email to the email you specify. So the logic for this form, or the backend for this form, is not created. So if you want that to be created, you can leave a comment in the comment section and asking me to create a dedicated video for this forms backend logic. Okay, so I'll try to create a new video based on the comments. All right, so now here we have some social account buttons as well. So basically for GitHub, for LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Telegram. So if you put your SNS links and when someone taps on them or press on the icon, it will open a new tab and open your social account. Okay, so this is how it looks on desktop. We can go to any section by tapping on the navbar button as well. So if we actually change the width of the window, it will change the layout. Basically now it changed to a mobile version of our portfolio. So instead of a number of navbar buttons, we have one button which opens a sidebar in which we placed all of our navbar buttons. Okay, so basically these navbar buttons works the same as the desktop version. Okay, when we tap on it, it will scroll down to that section. Okay, so this is how it looks on mobile, and everything works just like desktop version. Okay, in this tutorial we are building this from scratch. If you want to follow along with me, let's get started. First of all, let's open up our terminal and create a Flutter project inside our desired folder. So I want to change current directory to desktop directory because that's where I want to create this project. Let's run Flutter create command line with the name of the project. The name would be my portfolio, just simple name, portfolio. You can name it whatever you want. I went for this simple name. Let's run it and wait a second until it creates the default Flutter project. All right, the project has been created. We can change the directory to this newly created project directory. With this code dot command line, I can open this project inside VS Code. So basically, open your favorite code editor with this project. All right, so if I press enter, it should open the project on VS Code. Now the project is open. Let me make this a little bit bigger so that you can see it easily. All right. Now let's go to this lib folder, and inside this lib folder we have main.dart file where we have the usual source code that comes with default Flutter project. That's for counter app, right? So most of the code is not needed for us. We can get rid of them. So we don't need this my home page stateful widget. We can remove from this point till all the way down. All right. So, and this my home page that no longer exists. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of all of the comments. And we don't need this theme data as well because we want to have our own theme later. Let's remove this comment. And now we have a bare minimum code for Flutter project. So that is main function. That's an entry point function for our Flutter app that runs my app. And my app is a stateless widget, which has a material app that's being returned from it with a title and the home property that is empty for now. First of all, let's actually change this title to our name. You can change it to anything you want. I want to go for my name. So now when you create a project, it's always important to have some structure in your mind and apply that structure to your project. If you have a good structure, it's always easy to maintain your code. Okay, that's what we want to do as a first thing. So first of all, let's go to this lib folder, and inside this lib folder we want to create some folders that are needed for our project structure, or that is specific to this project structure. The first one will be pages, where we want to put our pages code. Okay, and the next one inside this lib folder again will be widgets. Inside this widgets folder, we want to actually divide our big widgets into smaller widgets, or big components into smaller components, and put them inside this widgets folder inside different files. All right, and the next one will be constants. This constants folder will contain some constant values for our project, like some constant string or some URLs and things like that. And the next one will be styles. So this styles folder will have some decoration or styles for our specific widgets. Okay, that's what we want. So now we have our project structure set up, at least minimum project structure set up. As we go along, we might want to create some more folders depending on the structure we will go together. Okay, now let's create our home page. So we go to this pages folder. Inside this pages folder, let's create a new file. The name of the file is home page.dart. Okay, so here inside this file, let's create a stateful widget. Stateful widget, and the name of the widget will be home page. Okay, I save it, and I come to this main.dart file, and here to this home property I want to assign this newly created widget. So that is home page. Okay, just like this, and this is actually const. Can make it const, and as you can see here, it already imported. The VS Code automatically imported this homepage widget for me. I can save it, and I can come to this homepage file again, and instead of this placeholder, let's return scaffold, because we want to have all the default decorations or styles or widgets of Flutter. Okay, this body, and for the body, for now I want to show some text so that we can have something child, and the text will be home, just like this. We can save it, and let's go to this main.dart file, and let's change this to, okay, I think here, okay, it's already Chrome. I can run it, and let's actually see what we have so far. Okay, our project, our application is running. As you can see, we have this white background with the text home at the center. Okay, so now let's actually change some of the properties of this material app. First of all, I want to get rid of this debug banner up there. Okay, I don't want that. So that is debug show checked mode banner. We can set this to false, and if I save it, this should be gone, as you can see here. And let's give this theme as well. I want to have dark theme for this app. So for that, we can use theme data, and theme data dark. And we want to modify this for our specific use case as we code along, okay? If I save it, now we should have a dark background with white text at the center. All right, as you can see, just like this. So now we can close this main.dart file for now, and we can come to our home page widget. That's a stateful widget, and we can remove this center, and instead of that, let's actually use a list view widget, because we want to put multiple widgets inside this list widget and make it scrollable. So list view widget has children property, which takes multiple widgets. So inside this children widget, we want to put all the widgets for our different sections. Basically, first of all, we want to divide our portfolio page into multiple sections, okay? So the first one will be main, and here for the main, I want to create a container, and let's give it a size. Let's make it 500, and for the width, let's actually make it as big as possible. And for this, let's give this colors of probably blue-gray, okay? And for direction of this list view, let's make this vertical. By default, list view has a horizontal direction, okay? We want to change that scroll direction to vertical direction, just like this. I can save it. If I save it, I should have one container with that color we define it. For this main section, as you can see, just like this. So let's actually copy paste this container with that comment and create all of our sections so that we can visualize what kind of sections we will have in this project. So the second one, instead of main, we want to make this skills section, and let's paste again. This one is project section. Okay, I spelled it wrong. Projects, just like this. And the next one is contact section, contact. And the last one is footer, okay, footer section. If I save it, all of our sections is the same color, so just like this. Let's actually make it kind of distinguishable. I want to remove the color for the first section, and I will leave the color of the second section as it is, and remove next one, and leave it as it is, the next one, and remove the last one as well. If I save it, now we should have sections with different colors, okay, just like this. So now our sections has been created. We can code along one by one. Now we can start with our main section. I think it's a good idea to take a look at the Figma design so that we can visualize what we are going to do with this main section. So I'm going to open up Figma design here. So here, as you can see, this is the main section of our website, and it has a top navbar, or you can say header, with a bunch of buttons and logo, and here we have button and text, and on the right side we have an image. So this is how our website is going to look like on desktop, and on mobile it will look something like this, okay? As you can see, we will remove all of the navbar buttons and put it as a sidebar. Basically, when this button is pressed, it should open up the sidebar with our text buttons here, or navbar buttons. All right. Another thing, if you notice it, we have a bunch of colors that are consistent, or basically we have brand colors. We are going to define all of these colors in a separate class as well, so that we can use them whenever we need them. We don't have to type them out every time we need it. Okay. So basically, let's start with that color, custom color class. So I'm going to come to this constants folder, and inside here I'll create a new file. And the name of the file is colors.dart. And here I will define all of the colors as a custom class. I already defined it here. I'll copy, paste it so that we can actually speed it up. So as you can see, we have custom color class with the number of colors as static const values. Whenever we need them, we can actually access this custom color class. So I'm going to save it, and I'll come to this home page file again. And first of all, let's actually define our scaffold background color. So for that, I'll use that background color property, and I can get my custom color class. And as you can see, all of our colors are accessible. I'm going to use this scaffold BG color. Okay, if I save it, you can see our scaffold background color changed to this color. All right, so now we can move down here and we can start coding our header or top navbar widget. So first of all, let's actually define our child property, and it's going to be row. If you remember, we have a bunch of text buttons and logo that are positioned in a row. So we're going to use this row widget for that. So the first one is logo, and it will be text. You can actually use image or anything you want here for your website's logo. I'm going to use just simple text with my short name. And the rest of them will be a text buttons. Text button. So for now, we can say just like this, empty method. And here for this text, and the text for it, let's say, I don't know, button for now. All right, not that, button, something like this. So if I save it, now as you can see, we have a logo and button. Let's actually position them in a correct way. So first of all, I want to use a spacer here so that we can separate our logo and text and navbar text buttons. So I'll create a bunch of buttons. That's why I'm going to use for loop here, and let's make it I equal to 0 and I is less than, let's say, 5, and I plus plus. All right, if I save it, now we should have a bunch of text buttons and a logo. You can see it's kind of getting cleaner a little bit. And then we can actually give this a little bit of decoration so that we can position it up here, and also give that some border radius and gradient background color. All right, let's start with that. So here I'm going to use decoration property of container, and for that I'll use box decoration. And first of all, for the box decoration, we are going to use linear gradient property, and that will be linear gradient. All right, just like that. Linear gradient takes colors, and the first color will be colors dot transparent. Okay, so the next one will be our custom color, and custom color BG light 1. So if I save it, as you can see here, this is a little bit kind of bigger. The height is quite big, so we are going to change the height as well. So for now, because it's defined as 500. And then the next one for this, we will use border radius. Okay, border radius. For border radius, we are going to use border radius circular, and it will be 100. So we're going to make it as rounded as possible. And we save it, and actually let's change the height as well. It's going to be 60. You can see it's actually coming together now. We have our header up there with the proper height. Let's actually give this some margin as well. For margin, let's use edge insets. Let's use symmetric. For the vertical, it can be 10, and for horizontal, we can give probably 20. I think 20 should be good. And let's save it. Okay, now it's coming together now. You can see here we have a little bit of lighter color on the right side, and we have no color on the left side. Now let's give our navbar buttons a little bit more space between them. So for that, we can come down here. We can actually wrap our text button with a padding. I'm going to use padding, and for it, I think I can give only padding of right. So it should be probably 20. I think 20 should be good. If I save it, now our buttons are separated a little bit with more space. Now let's style our logo and this navbar buttons as well with their proper text content. So for that, I'm going to come to this constants folder, and inside here I'll create a new file with the name of nav items. Okay, and I'll say dart, and here I'll define all the texts of each button. Okay, so I'm going to copy paste the one I already created here. You can see this is nav titles list, and it has all the texts for our buttons. I will save it, and I come to this homepage.dart file again, and here I come down, and instead of this 5, I'm going to use that nav titles list, and I'll use the length of it. Okay, basically it will be it will create that number of text buttons as these nav titles, and I will use it here, and for it I will use I. If I save it, now we should have our buttons with their corresponding text. So you can see here. And now let's actually change the colors of each button, because we don't want this blue color, we want white. And we'll come here, we actually set some style to our text. Okay, and style, and it will be text style. And we are going to change the font size first, and the font size will be 16, and we will give some font weight as well. For the font weight, we can use font weight, I think 500 should be good. And for the last one, it will be color. So we are going to use our custom color, and it will be white primary. Okay, and if I save it, okay, now everything is actually coming together except this logo, right? So let's actually style this logo as well. Let's give this style, some text style, and style property. We set text style, and first of all, let's give this font size. For the font size, we're going to use 22. I think 22 should be good. And the next one will be font weight. We want this to be as bold as possible, so we can use just bold. And the next one, we will use decoration, because I want to put some underline under this logo text. So we can use text decoration, and for it I can use underline. And the last one will be color. For the color, I will use custom color again, and I will use secondary yellow, or yellow secondary. All right, something like this. So now if I save it, now our logo and all of the buttons are styled properly. Now we are pretty much done with our header on desktop view, but if we check it on mobile, it will look not good. So let's actually check it. We can come here, more tools, developer tools, and here you can see there is already issue. When the width of the window gets smaller, and at some point it will actually overflow, and it will be something like this. There's an issue here, so we can check it like this. So if we change it, you can see on mobile it will look something like this. We don't want that. We want to show a different design on mobile. If we check it here on Figma, I created a separate design for our web portfolio, and this is going to be what we will show on mobile. So it will be, this will be for desktop, and this will be for mobile. All right, I'll close it, and I can close this one as well, and we can make this smaller again. And now let's actually start with cleaning up our code with a little bit of modification. Okay, so I'll actually copy this container all the way down here, and I copy it and remove it actually, or cut it. And I'll come here to widgets folder, and here I'll create a new file. The name of the file will be header desktop. And here I'll create a new widget, a stateless widget, and the name of the widget will be header desktop. Okay, and I'll replace this placeholder with our container, that header. All right, now let's import our missing components. Import it, and we can remove this one. All of red errors are gone. Let's actually remove these warnings as well, because Dart is complaining about making the values as const. So we can change it not const but const, and paste in front of these ones as well, just like this, and this spacer, and then this text style. Now we can come to this file, we can get it, this header desktop. We can here, instead of all of that code that are lying around kind of messy, we can put it here just like this, and we can actually import it. All right, now if I save it or reload it, okay, everything is the same. And one more thing, if you actually visit a website, usually when you tap on the logo of that website, it actually reloads the page or goes to the top of the page. That's what we want with our web portfolio as well. All right, that's why we'll come here, header desktop, and we will actually wrap our text widget, this logo widget, with gesture detector as well, because we want to make that tappable. You can wrap it with widget, and it will be gesture detector, and I will use onTap method of gesture detector. For now, it's just an empty method. And actually, let's get this logo and put it in a separate file as well, because we want to reuse this logo on mobile version as well, because it will be the same. We're not going to change this. That's why we can copy it or cut it. I'll copy it and remove it, and here I'll create a new file. It will be site logo.dart, and I'll create a new widget, stateless widget, and that will be site logo, as you guessed it. And we can actually remove it and paste our widget here. Let's import this custom color class, and now we can have that onTap method as well. We want to use that onTap for it. We can say void callback, and it will be onTap. And for this, we can use required, not required. We don't want that to be required. This dot onTap. We can make it nullable as well, and put it here. All right. Now we can come here, header desktop, and we can use that header, not header, but site logo with that onTap method. Okay, just like this. Now if I reload it, nothing should change. It should look the same. Okay, now what we can do, we can start coding our header for mobile version. So here I will come, and I'll actually comment this out for now and create a new widget, and it is going to be another container. Okay, first of all, let's give it height. For the height, I will make it a little bit smaller than desktop version, and for the margin, I'll give margin of edge insets from left to right. For the left, it will be 40. For the top, it will be 5, and for the right, let's make this 20, and for the bottom, it should be 5 as well. And let's make this const. And now it's time to give this the child property of it. And for the child, it will be row, because we're going to position two children or two widgets in a row. And the first one will be site logo. If you remember, we already created a new widget for our site logo. We can just use that. We don't have to create a new similar widget. And for the onTap method, it will be empty for now. And the next will be, we'll have some spacer here and make this const. And the next one will be icon button. For the icon button, the method will be empty for now. And for the icon, we can use icons.menu. This menu should be not that, menu. And then if I actually save it, okay, things actually coming together. So now let's make this one const, and let's put little bit of, what is it? Let's actually give this decoration. I want to make it a little bit different than the Figma design, because it doesn't look that good. I think instead of this Figma design, I want to give this decoration that is similar to our header on desktop version. So decoration, and let's actually use the same decoration on our header desktop here. For our header desktop, it should be, all right, here. I'll actually copy the whole box decoration, copy or cut it, and I'll come here inside this style. I'll create a new file. The name of the file will be just style.dart, and here I'll create a new const, and that will be k header, let's say decoration, something like this. I think if I import it, hopefully they should not be. Let's try to remove this, and let's make this box decoration. Okay, we need to import all of our colors. All right, now I can actually use this k header first of all inside here, our header desktop, and I'll import it, and then I'll come here for this container as well. I'll put it here and import it, and if I actually reload it, okay, now it's a little bit, I think, better. Let's give this a little bit of size here. So for it, I can come here and use sized box, not that, sized box, and the width should be 15, width of 15, not 16, 15, and I'll remove that, and let's make this const. If I save it, okay, I think this is a little bit better. Now we can actually get this again, get all of it, copy, remove or cut, and come here to widgets. We'll create a new file again, header mobile.dart. And let's create a new widget, stateless widget, and that will be header of mobile. And let's replace this placeholder with our own widget, and let's import the missing components, site logo, and now let's have two methods. First one, void callback, and it will be on logo tab, and the next one, copy and paste it. Let's change this to on menu tab, and we can use VS Code's extension to put all of it. Okay, you can see here, and what I want to do, I will come down here, site logo. For the site logo, I can say on logo tab, and for this one, I will use on menu tab. Let's remove this to get rid of the error, and we can get this header mobile, come to our home page again, and put it here. Just like this. If we import it, and if we reload the page, all right, now you can see we have our header, but this icon color, this menu button color is not what we want. That's because we have our icon button that has an onPressed method with null value. If we give this on menu tab, it should be all right. The color should be white now. All right, that's good. So this menu on menu tab, if you remember, we use this on menu tab and we assigned that to this one, icon button. If this onPressed is null, the color will be kind of, this button is disabled. That's why the color is not white. So that's it, guys. So this is our header mobile that is done. Let's give this one on logo tab method as well, because we are going to use it later. Now our header on mobile view is done as well, but all of our navbar buttons are gone. We want to show them on mobile view somehow as well, right? So basically what we want to do is when this menu button is pressed, we want to show a sidebar or drawer, that is what it's called in Flutter, and show each navbar button as list view on that sidebar. So basically in Flutter, we call it drawer and its sidebar. There are two sidebars. One is right sidebar and the other is left sidebar. So basically, this scaffold has two properties for drawer. If you use drawer, this drawer, if you assign a widget to this drawer, it will open on the left side. And if you make this end drawer, and this end drawer is responsible for the sidebar on the right side. All right. So we are going to use this end drawer. So for that, Flutter has a drawer widget, and we can use it. For now, it's empty. We will actually style it and put some widgets inside it later. So if you want to open a drawer or sidebar programmatically, you want to use a key of scaffold. So that's what we are going to do here. First, we will define a key here, and it will be scaffold key, and we make it global key, and the type of the global key will be scaffold state. Okay, scaffold state. And now we will assign that key to this scaffold key. Now we can use this scaffold and its state to open our drawer. So we'll come here on menu tab. When this menu button is pressed, this will be called. So we are going to call that open drawer function inside this on menu tab function. So scaffold key, we want to get current state of it, and it might be null. That's why you want to make it nullable. So, and then we want to open not drawer, but the second method, open end drawer. All right. Now, whenever we press on this button, it should call this function and open the drawer for us. Let's save it and try it. Now, if I tap on this button, it will open the drawer. You can see we have a sidebar. Whenever we tap on it, it will open. If I tap here, it will close. All right. So now we have our drawer, and let's actually put all of the widgets we need inside this drawer. First of all, let's change the background color of this drawer. For that, we can use background color, and we can use the same color as scaffold. Okay. If I save it and open it, now the background changed to our scaffold's background. Now the next one is drawer has a child property that takes a widget. Now we want to use list view for this because we want to put a number of widgets inside it so that we can show it as a list view. So list view has children property, and here we can put all the widgets we want that can be shown on the sidebar. So first of all, let's actually define some icons for our navbar buttons, because on the mobile we want to show some fancy navbar buttons that has icons as well. So basically I already defined all the icons here. I'll copy it and I come here to constants folder. Inside here we have nav items file, and we already have nav titles, and we used it for our desktop header, and for our mobile header we will use the same nav titles, and we want to use these icons as well. I already created it so that you don't have we don't have to type it out together, and I don't want you to watch me to type everything one by one. So basically I can close this file, and I can come here and we can loop through each of our nav icons and show them on that sidebar. So for that I will use for loop. Because this is a list, we can use for loop inside this list. And integer I equal to 0, and I is less than nav icons length. And then we will make I++. So once we increment it, we can put all of our widgets or our widget inside, and it will actually loop through and show our widgets as a list. Here I want to use list style. List style because this list style has a number of properties that is really good for our use case, and it comes with Flutter. The first one is leading, and you can assign any widget you want to this leading. I want to use icon because I want to actually display these icons. Here I can use icons. This is a list, and we want to access the icon at the current index. All right. And the next one is title, and for the title we can use text widget, and then for the title we can get our nav titles, and we can get the current index. All right. So now if I save it and open our sidebar, you can see this is a fancy icon and title together, and this is coming from this list style widget. All right, now let's actually style our list styles and put some other widgets we need for our sidebar. So the first of all, what I want to do is to give this list style some padding. For that, we can actually come here and we can give content padding. For the content padding, I want to use edge insets of symmetric. And for the horizontal, basically we just need horizontal. I want to give just 30. All right. If I save it and open it, you can see we have some padding here. So the next one is let's actually style our text or title. For that, we can use title style, title text style, and it will get text style just like text. And we can give color first, and the color will be custom color of white primary, and I want to make it bold. Font weight of font weight, let's make this 600. And then font size, for the font size I want to use 16. Okay, let's make it 16, and we can actually make this const, and we can make this one const as well, so that we can get rid of Dart complaining message. And then what we want to do, we want to use onTap method of this list style. It already has that onTap method, so we can come here and we can use that onTap. And for now it's just empty method. Now if I save it, now let's open it, you can see our our text is styled. So now what we want to do is to put some button that close the sidebar. Of course you can tap here and close it, but it's not just a good idea to leave it as it is, because for user experience it's best practice to put some closing button as well. Okay, that's what we want to do here. So for that, I'll come up here, and before that list style, we want to use another icon button. First of all, let's give this on pressed. For now it's just empty, and then for the icon, and then icons.close. So let's put the comma there, and then let's wrap this with a padding as well. Wrap it with padding. For the padding, I want to give a only left of 20, and let's give some top as well. For the top, I want to give 20, and for the bottom 20 as well. All right, if I save it, now let's open it. You can see we have this button now. When we press it, it should close the sidebar. So let's add the functionality and put this button here. Okay, not at the center, but here. So for it, we can actually wrap our widget with another widget that's align. Let's do that first. Wrap it with widget and align. And for the alignment, let's use alignment dot center left. All right, and then if we save it and open the sidebar, you can see it's coming together now. All right, the last thing is when we press it, it should close the sidebar. For it, what we want to do is just come here on pressed, and we want to use navigator dot, let's get the context, okay, navigator of current context, and then we can call the pop method. And let's make this const as well. Do we have anything that's not const or should be const? All right, now with this method it should close our sidebar. I save it and let's open the sidebar, and if I press on it, you can see it closed the sidebar. If I open it and I close it, and that's it. Now our drawer is done as well. What we want to do is let's actually grab our drawer and put it in its own separate file, because it's not a good idea to put all of our code like a spaghetti here. All right, that's why let's come here, drawer, just above the body, and let's come up here until the drawer, and let's copy and remove it or cut it. All right, and here we will come down, come to this widgets folder, and we'll create a new file, and the name of the file will be drawer. Let's make it mobile, because it's only for mobile view, right? .dart. All right, and state list widget again, and that will be mobile, not drawer mobile, let's say drawer mobile. Okay, we will replace this placeholder with our drawer widget. Let's get rid of all of the errors by actually importing the components that are missing. Let's import them, and then all of them are gone. Now we can get this drawer mobile and come here and actually import it and make this const, and let's actually reload it. Okay, now if we open it, it should work the same as before, just like this. Now we have both desktop and mobile version of our header widget, but it's not responsive yet. I mean, when you change the window size, it doesn't do anything. It just shows this mobile version of our header widget, because that's what we are doing here. So what we want to do is, based on this window width, we want to show mobile or desktop version of our header widget. So to achieve that functionality, we need to use a layout builder widget, which gives us screen size or window size information that can be used to manipulate our UI. All right, so for that we can wrap our scaffold widget with that layout builder widget. So I can wrap my widget, my scaffold, with builder, and instead of this builder I will use layout builder. All right, this layout builder has builder property which passes us two parameters. The first one is context, and second one is constraints. All right, constraints, something like this. So this constraints contains information about the screen size or this window size, and we are going to use that to manipulate our UI. So I come here and comment out this header desktop, and I actually make it const, and here I will use a condition. If constraints, I'll get the max width, this will give us maximum width available in our window here, because we are wrapping our scaffold. Basically this window, this window's max width is equal to this max width that's coming from constraints. All right, we're going to check that if that is bigger than or equal to 600. So this 600 will be our maximum or minimum desktop width. All right, we are going to show this header desktop. Else, if that's not the case, we are going to show this header mobile. All right, now if I save it and come here, if I change the window size, when I reach to a certain point, you can see we are seeing our desktop version of our header widget. So if I make it small, now we have mobile version, desktop, mobile, something like this. Okay, I found this 600 as the best fit for my preference, so you can actually change it to any value you want. Okay, so another thing I want to do here is this drawer mobile, because we don't want to have this widget on desktop. We only want to show this on mobile, right? That's why we can set a condition here as well. So I'm going to use this same condition. I'll just copy it. If that, let's check it here, and drawer, right? This and drawer can take widget, and that widget can be null as well. And here I will put the condition, constraints max width is if bigger than or equal to 600. I'll check it. I'll use ternary operator here. And if that is the case, if this is desktop, this is saying if this is desktop, I will use null. I will assign null to this end drawer because I don't want any drawer to show up on desktop, right? So, and else we can use this drawer mobile, all right? Now, if I save it, nothing changes here because if we press it, it will show the drawer. If we close it, it's not going to be available here, right? So if we make it, now that means we do not have this drawer. We have no widget that is assigned to this end drawer, and that means we do not accidentally open the sidebar or drawer. Actually, on Flutter, in Flutter you can actually slide this side, and you can get the sidebar open. All right, that's we want to prevent that from happening. That's why I set a condition here. All right, so we can make this smaller again. And here, another thing we should do when we have this kind of things, this kind of some hard-coded value, we want to put that hard-coded value in a variable. We want to assign that to a certain variable and use that variable, and that's a good practice, because if you want to change that value in some place, let's say if you want to change this globally, let's say, and then you need to change that value in every place. So that's why we can actually come here to constants folder, and there we can create another file, size.dart. You can name it whatever you want, and here I will create a new const variable. It's going to be double, and you can name it whatever you want. I name it k.min desktop. Let's say desktop, not that, desktop width, and it's going to be 600. All right, now we can use this variable every time we need them, because actually we need this 600 value in quite many places, because we are making our website responsive, right? So that's why I will replace this 600 with that min desktop width, and I'll import that, and I'll use the same thing here as well, just like this. All right, now if we reload it, we should have the same functionality as before. You can see here it is working as before. That's it. All right, now let's move on to the second part of our main section. First of all, let's take a look at our Figma design. Here you can see we have this text and button on the left side and an image on the right side. So we're going to create this part of our main section. Here we have one image file. You can use any kind of image you want. This is the image I want to put on this part of our main section. Okay, so let me close this first, and here we need to first bring our assets inside our assets folder. As you can see here, I don't have an assets folder yet, so I'm going to create that folder or directory. So let's create the assets folder just like this. I'm creating it inside the root of my project. Okay, as you can see here. Now I need to bring my image file inside this folder. Okay, so I already have that. Let me check it. Okay, here I already have it. I can just drag it and drop it inside this assets folder. You can see this avatar image, Flutter avatar image. So let me close it, and now we need to specify a path to that file in our pubspec YAML. Just open the pubspec YAML file, and then you just, here we have this assets section. Okay, and here we can specify a path to that file. So basically what I want to do, I don't want to specify a path to that specific file, but I want to specify the assets folder path, and I will just put that slash. This means everything inside this, every file inside this assets folder will be available whenever we want to use it inside our project. Okay, so assets and anything or everything inside it, and I want to save it. Okay, now we have saved it. Just make sure you have the names match here, assets and this assets. Okay, otherwise it's not going to work. Okay, let's close this pubspec YAML file, and let's close the sidebar as well. Here, let's start creating our widgets. First of all, I want to create a container, not with a capital, container, and inside this container, I want to give this a child property, and for the child property, let's give this a row. Okay, because we have two parts to that section. Okay, basically kind of side by side. All right, now the first part was text. Let's put that text. For the text, I already have the text here. Let me kind of copy it and paste it over there. Okay, so just like that, I put it right there, and then this text should have a button right below it. All right, so for that we need to wrap this with a column. So let's wrap it with column because we want to put another widget right below the text. Okay, so for that one, for this text, we want to, not for this text, but for the button, we want to use an elevated button. Okay, elevated button. And for the onPressed, right now it's just an empty method. And for the child, we will give this text. And for the text should be get in touch. Okay, this is the text. So let's make this const as well, just like that. All right, now let's put some commas here so that we have kind of proper styling or proper indentation. So this is the column, this is the text and button part, as you can see here. And right below this, we are inside our row widget, as you can see. This is the children of it, and here, and just right below it, I want to give this an image. Okay, image.asset, because we are kind of showing an image from our assets. So for that, I need to specify the whole path to that file. That is assets slash and my Flutter image. No, not image, but avatar. Okay, that was avatar.png. All right. So for now, this is it. So actually now if I save it, it's not going to show the image here, because we need to kind of, when we are building an application on using Flutter Web, we need to kind of close or stop the application, running application, and restart it again when we want to add new assets. Okay, because it's not going to kind of bring the newly added assets while we are kind of debugging or while we are kind of running in debug mode. Let's close it. And now let's rerun it again. So I'm going to press Command, Shift, and F5. That's on Mac. Okay, it's going to kind of run the application. Or you can just come right here in the main.dart, and there you can tap on this run without debugging icon. So it's going to start the application as well. Okay. Okay, now our Flutter application is up running. So let's go to our home page. So here, as you can see, it should show the page right now. All right, now you can see we have some issues because of the image being too big. So let's first of all fix that. Okay, so for it, instead of giving this image a specific size, let's make it dynamic. So for it, I can just give a width, and I'm going to use a screen width. We have up here screen width, and I'm going to set the size to the screen size divided by 2. Okay, basically half of the screen width. So let's save it now. Okay, you can see we have an image that's kind of smaller, much smaller, and it fits here, and there is no issue, overflow issue. So we have some text issue, so we need to align stuff, and we need to set some margin around this and stuff like that. So first of all, let's start by giving this container a margin. So for that, I can give this a margin, and I'm going to give a edge insets symmetric, and let's give this a horizontal. So 20 should be good. So let's make this const, and let's give this container height and constraints as well. Okay, so for the height, I want to use a screen height. So basically screen size height, I'm going to set this to the screen height, but divided by 1.2. So that's that. And another issue we might have is when user kind of makes the browser height smaller, just like this. Shrinking the browser height like this might have some issues. Minimum height as well. Okay, so let's give this constraints. For the constraints, we are going to use just a min height. Okay, for the min height, 350 should be good enough. So that's it. Now it's not going to affect right now, but it's just avoiding a potential issue, overflow issue we might have. Okay, now when I save it, okay, you can see we have this an image here, and we have some space, so we need to kind of align things a little bit. Okay, so first of all, to align everything at the center, we need to give some we need to set an alignment of this row. So for it, let's set the main axis alignment first, and for that main axis alignment, not center, basically actually we need to give this space evenly, because we want to put it kind of, we need to put this one side around here and the other side around here, so regardless of the screen width. Okay, let's save it. Okay, you can see it's right here, and that one is right there. All right, now what we want to do is to give some alignment to this one as well, to text and button as well, because it's kind of now at the top. Okay, we don't want that. So for it, we can just give this main axis alignment as well. So for the main axis alignment, we will give this center. Okay, if we make it center and if we save it, now we have our text and button kind of aligned with the image right here. All right, now let's actually style our text a little bit so that it has kind of a bigger font size and some little bit bolder. So for it, we can use a style property of text, and we'll use text style just like that. And first one, that will be font size. For the font size, I'll set this to 30 because I want this to be kind of as big as possible. And then let's give this font weight as well. Okay, for the font weight, I want to make the font weight of bold. Okay, and the color is already white, but instead of using a Flutter's default white, we want to use our own custom white. Okay, that's why I want to use the color and custom not that, custom color, not BG white, BG light, but white primary. We already have that color. So now what we can do, we can make this const. Okay, let's save it and see how it looks. Okay, now you can see we have a kind of big text. That's good. And the next one, we need to give this some text height as well, because kind of it's small space. So for it, let's give this height, and for the height, I want to make this 1.5. Let's see how it looks. Okay, I think it looks better now. And now we need some spacing below the text as well. So for it, we can just use a sized box, and for the height, let's give this 15, okay? And let's make this a const. And let's save it and see how it looks. Okay, this looks better. And now the next one is I want to give this button some width as well. Okay, now because it's kind of small. So let's wrap this elevated button with a sized box. And for the size box, I want to give this a width. And for the width, let's make this 200 and let's see how it looks. Oh, I think it's a little bit smaller. Let's check. Let's make this 250 and see how it looks. I think, yeah, 250 is good. So it's kind of aligned with the text. So that's good now. And now let's actually try to see how it looks, okay, to check how it looks. I think it's better now. All right, now we have a nice looking main section for the desktop version. Let's actually clean up our code a little bit. So instead of putting all of this code right here, I want to put it inside its own file and basically making a custom widget in another file. So let's actually take this, let's grab this just from the bottom part of it or from the end of it, and let's select it. And I want to cut this or copy and remove it. And then I'll open here, open the sidebar, and inside this widgets folder, I'll create a new file. And the name of the file will be main desktop. Okay, let's try that. So main desktop.dart. All right. Now inside this main desktop, let's create a stateless widget. So the name of the widget will be main desktop, as you might have guessed it. And we can kind of paste all of our code right here. And then, as you can see, we have a few errors, basically screen width. We don't have that. So, and the color as well. Let's kind of import our custom colors. And we need to bring our screen size. Basically, we have it right here. We can copy it from there, okay? Just like that. Let's copy it. And then let's come to our main desktop file and put it right there. All right, now we have that, as you can see, just like that. And we can copy paste it and make this screen height. Instead of that, let's make this height, and we can replace our, where is that? Our screen width, not screen width, but where is that screen height, with that screen height to make everything kind of consistent. All right. Now we need to grab our widget and put it right here. Okay. So basically we can import it. Once we import it, as you can see, we have our main desktop. Let's make this const and let's save it. Now you can see we have our main section that is just like before. All right. Now let's create a mobile version of this part of our main section. So first of all, let's take a look at our Figma design here. As you can see, I made a little bit of adjustment here. I put the avatar image at the top and put this text and button at the bottom, because if the screen width is really small, it didn't look good on mobile if you put them side by side. That's why I put it here and put this down here. So we're going to make our UI a little bit similar to this one. All right, so let's close this and let's comment out our main desktop widget. And here let's create a new container. For our container, let's give it a height. So for the default height will be, we are going to set it to screen height. And we need to give this some constraints as well, because user mobile device's height might be really small, and in that case we might have some overflow issue. Or if user is opening the website on desktop and shrinking the height of it, something like this, we might have an issue on mobile view of our website. All right, that's why we need to give it some constraints, basically minimum height. So box constraints, let's give this min height, and for the min height I found 560 to be kind of a good fit, so you can change it to your liking if you don't want this size. And then let's actually give this child widget. For the child we are going to use column, because I showed you our avatar image and text button will be shown kind of in a column view. So for children, first it will be avatar image, and this is going to be intro text, and then btn. All right, so first of all, let's come here, let's create image from asset, and for that I will copy the image path from here, the same one. I don't want to make a typo and not our image not to show up, something like this. And for intro text, let's put it, actually for intro text and button we can use the same widget and adjust some values of it. Let's come here, let's copy all of this. All right, I'll come here, I'll copy get in touch button, all of it, and all the way up here until our intro message. Okay, I copy it and I come to my home page again and I paste it just below our avatar image, just like that. Okay, you can see everything is the same, and let's try to reload it and see what we have. All right, you can see here we have this image and text button. So let's adjust the values to our specific use case. First of all, let's give this width. So for the width, I want to set it to screen width. All right, screen width. And then for this text, let's make this font size 24 instead of 30, because 30 is really big, so 24 should be good. And for this button, we want to match it with the width of our text, intro text. Now if I reload it, okay, now the text is smaller and the button is a little bit smaller. All right, I think we can make this probably 190. Let's reload it and see how it looks. Okay, not bad. Now if you take a look at a Figma design, you can see that my image has some overlay on top of it. Kind of the image looks like it has an opacity. That's what we want on our website as well. Okay, let's close this Figma. And here, for that, we can actually manipulate a widget using shader mask widget in Flutter. So for it, we need to wrap our widget with a shader mask, and this shader mask has a callback which actually accepts a shader. So we can create that shader callback, and this shader callback gives us some bounds that has information you need if you want more advanced manipulation of the widget. All right, so it will not return, it will receive, it will receive shader. So we want to create a shader from linear gradient, and this linear gradient takes colors. For the colors, I already have colors defined, so I'm going to copy those colors here and put them inside this list, just like that. All right, as you can see, we have an error because if you hover over it, it will receive shader, but our here we are actually returning linear gradient. So from linear gradient you can create a shader. For that you need to use linear gradients method, that is create shader from that. Okay, so for this create shader, for this rect, we can use bounds. We can use the bounds that's coming from here. Now, if we reload it, now you can see we have this image with a lot of opacity. Okay, we don't want this kind of opacity. Basically, you can actually change the blend mode and based on your widget or image manipulation. So here, for the blend mode of this shader mask, I want to use, let's use blend mode. For the blend mode, I want to use dot source atop. All right, this source atop enables you to manipulate the opacity of the widget. In this case, we have this image widget. Right? If you want to learn about this shader mask, actually it's better to read some documentation and watch some tutorials. I don't want to go into the details. Basically what we are doing here is trying to manipulate our image so that we can have some overlay on top of it, or you can say change the opacity of this image. All right, that's what we are doing here. If I reload it, we should have a proper image with opacity. Okay, this is what we want here. All right, now if I make it smaller, you can see here we have this image that is responsive because we set the width of it to this screen width. Now let's position the widgets properly based on our Figma design. So first of all, we come here to our column and we need to set main axis alignment and cross-axis alignment. Main axis alignment, it will be start, and cross-axis alignment. For the cross-axis alignment, we are going to let's change it, cross-axis alignment of start, not stretch but start. Now if I reload it, okay, as you can see here, our text and button is positioned at the left side and the image is at the center. So here, let's actually give this some margin so that we can actually separate the text from this edge. So let's come to here and let's give this margin. So edge insets dot symmetric, let's give this symmetric horizontal. For the horizontal, I want to set it to 40, and for the vertical, let's make it 30, and let's make this const, and then let's reload it. Okay, so it's good. Now we have some spacing, and I think we need to give a little bit spacing between image and this text as well. Let's come down here, just under the text, this shader mask widget, we can use sized box. Sized box. Let's give this height. For the height, I think we can use just 30. 30 should be good. Const, and let's reload it. Okay, now we have some spacing. It looks good. Let's try to check it if it's working, if we do not have any issue, let's say. Okay, now it's good. If we make this bigger, nothing changes. You know why? Because we are not using any conditionals based on our screen size, right? Like we did for our header. Let's do that. First of all, I want to clean up the code. Just let's grab our container with all of its child, and let's grab it all the way up here, and I will cut it or copy it and remove it, and I'll come here inside this widget folder. I will create a new file, and this will be main of mobile.dart, and state list widget. This will be main of mobile. Instead of this placeholder, we are going to return our copied widget. Let's import all of our missing components, and let's remove this. And we need screen width here and screen height. Okay, again, we will come here and let's actually copy all of it, and we can paste it inside this build function just like before. And we can come here, and now we have this main desktop, right? So now we want to use conditional just we did for this header. First of all, we can actually copy this conditional if this is the case, right? If our max width is equal to or bigger than minimum desktop width, then we will show main desktop. Let's make this const. Else, if that's not the case, we will show that main mobile. All right, and let's make this const as well. Now, if we reload it, we should have mobile view. Now you can see we have mobile header and mobile, what is it? The mobile version of our main section in total. If we change the size, now you can see it's showing our desktop version. If we make it small, it changes it. If we make it big, it changes it, just like that. Okay, now I think we are pretty much done with our main section's UI. We can move on to the other parts. Now let's move on to our skills section. Let's first take a quick look at our Figma design so that we have an idea of what we are going to build. So here you can see this is our skills section for our desktop version with a title and platforms and skills. Here on mobile, we have the same thing, but the layout is a little bit different. We are going to change this layout, modify it a little bit more while we are coding it, because when the mobile window or mobile screen is too small, this layout, especially this grid layout, is not going to fit to that. That's why we need to modify it a little bit while we are coding it, okay? First, we need to focus on desktop version, and then we can move on to mobile version. Let me close this Figma. And before we start skills section, let's actually change something here. I want to make it smaller, and here on our sidebar we have these titles of our navbar. I want to change these two icons because they do not actually define what these titles say. All right, that's why I want to come to this nav items file, and inside here we have these two icons. I want to change the first one to what is that? It should be handyman, not handy, but handyman outlined. It's handyman outlined. And the next one, this backhand, I want to change this to apps. And if I save it, now if I open sidebar, now these icons actually better define what these titles say. All right, that's it. Let's change it to the previous size. Now I can close this nav items. Now let's actually bring our assets into our assets folder and then define some of our constant values we need for this skills section. First of all, I'll start with assets. And I want to actually open my folder here. I already have the assets. It should be down here. Let me open it. You can see I have all the assets here. I want to take them and drag and drop it inside that assets. Okay, let's replace the previous ones. Okay, you can see all of my assets are defined here. You can see these are just icons for our skills section. Okay, I will actually include the link to these icons in the description. You can get it from there if you want to use them, or else you can use your own icons or images. All right, and now we need to actually stop it and rerun the app again, because we actually made big change to this assets folder, and they might not be kind of show up on our website. That's why we need to rerun our app. So let's rerun it. Okay, so now I want to define some of our constant values we need for this section. That's why I will come to this constants folder, and here I'll create a new file, and the name of the file will be skill items.dart. And here I'll actually copy and paste the list of items I already defined it. I copy them and bring them here and put it just like that, paste it. Here you can see I have platform items, and those are Android, web, iOS, and desktop. And these are list of maps which has a path to the image that's proper, that the corresponding image icon of that platform, and the title that platform. Okay, we're going to loop through that and show it on the screen. And for the next list, this is skill items list, and it has also the structure of this is also the same. And here we have the icon of the language, that's Flutter, Dart, HTML5, CSS3, and the others. So, and also the title, which is Flutter. So we're going to loop through that and show it on the screen. Instead of typing them out on our code, we can just use these variables and loop through them to show them. All right, now I save it and close this one. Now we can come here and start our skills section. For the child property of this container, we can use column because our section has a title and the rest of the content below the title. All right, so for the child, let's give it column. So column has children property, and for the children, the first one will be title, okay, and the second one will be our platforms and skills. So first of all, let's give title to this section, and that will be text widget. For the text widget, the string will be what I can do. And let's give this some styling as well. For the styling, we can have our text style. Let's first of all give this a font size. For the font size, I want to make this 24, and font weight, I want to make this bold. For font weight, we can make this bold. And the last one, let's give this color as well, because our title should be the color of our brand, that is our primary white color. Okay, custom color, and we have this white primary color. Let's give this comma, and if I save it, okay, here we have our section with its title. So let's actually style this section. We do not want this color, and we want to give this some padding. So first of all, let's remove this height because we don't want any specific height. We want this section to be the height of its content. So for this, we can have double dot max finite as width, but instead of that, I want to use our screen width. Okay, and for the color, we have our custom color of BG Light 1. So this is the color I want for this section. Let's give this some padding as well. For the padding, edge insets dot, I want to give padding to all sides. So we can have from left, top, right, bottom. And for the left, I want to make this 25. Top, let's give this 20. Right will be the same as the left. And for the bottom, we can make this one a little bit bigger than the rest. Let's make this const. And now let's give this column main exercise as well, just in case. So main exercise of min. We don't want our column to take up more space than it needs. And then we can make this text const, because this title is just const. We can set it as const. If we save it, okay, now our section has a background color we need or we want, and the title with some padding around it. So now we can move to the bottom part, that is platforms and skills. Okay, for this platforms and skills section, if we take a look at our Figma design here, where is that? Okay, here. So this one, as you can see here, we have our title, and we can use row to this section because this is platforms and this is all the skills we have. Okay, we can use row and we can insert other widgets inside that row. So let's close this. We can come here, just below this comment, I can have a row widget. For the row, it has children. For the children, the first one will be platforms, okay? And the second one will be skills. So let's start from platforms. For this left side, we can use wrap widget because we want to insert 4 containers, and we can set specific size to them because we know the size of each of that container. Okay, so for the children, let's have first of all a container, and for the container I want a specific width of 200, and for the decoration I want to give this some decoration. Let's give this box decoration. First of all, I want to give this a color, and for the color I want to make it a little bit lighter than the background color. So we have our custom color, and custom color BG Light 2 is lighter than the background color we used for this section. And for the border radius, I want to give this little bit of border radius. Oops, not border radius of circular. Border radius, here we have circular, and I want to give just 5. Okay, then we can move down. We have this box decoration. Just under it, I want to give this a child, and for the child, let's give it list style. So that's the widget that fits in this case for our platform, for our each platform. Okay, so list style, first it has a leading. For the leading, I want to use a image. Okay, image dot asset. For now it's just empty, I'll set it later. And for the title, let's use text, and this will be our platform. For now it's empty. Okay, for now what we need is the items, skill items we created as a new file, if you remember. So I can come here on the sidebar. We have this constant, we have this constants folder, and inside there we created a skill items. Okay, so first we need this platform items for this one, and then we need skill items first. So let's start from platform items. Okay, I'll come here and I want to loop through those platform items and display 4 of them here, basically all of them. First, let's create I equal to 0, and then I is less than platform items. Let's import it, dot length, and then let's increment the I. Now we can use this platform items here, first of all, in the image, and we will get the platform item at this index, and then we will get the image. Okay, img. If you remember, this is the image we want to access to this specific image value, and then title value. So we can have this the same platform with current index, and we can get the title. All right, now if I save it, okay, as you can see here, we have all of our items that is lined up just like this. All right, now we want to remove this overflow issue. So for that, we can come here and we can actually give this wrap a constraint box. Okay, let's wrap it with widget. We can use this, wrap it with widget. So that will be constraint box. For the constraints, I want to give a max width for this. All right, box constraints, max width, not height, max width of, I want to give this 450. And then we can make this const. If I save it, now our errors go away. As you can see, all of 4 items are displayed properly. Now let's style it a little bit. We do not want this big item, and we want to have some spacing, and we want some padding for each list style as well. So first of all, let's come here, and for this list style, let's give this some padding. Okay, content padding, edge insets, let's give this symmetric. For the horizontal, I want to make this 10, and not 10, let's give this 20, because the horizontal should be a little bit bigger. All right, and for the vertical, we can make this 10. Let's make this actually const. Okay, if I save it, okay, now we have some padding, and let's make this image a little bit smaller, and for it we can actually give some width for the image. Let's give this width of 26. I think 26 should be good. If I save it, okay, now the image looks good. So what what we need to do right now is come up here, actually, not down, up here. Let's give it some spacing as well. First of all, let's give this spacing of probably 5, not 50, but 5. And then for the run spacing, that will be the same as well. All right. And let's actually give this row some alignment as well, because we want to insert the skills section as well, and we want both of these platform and skills section to have proper alignment. So basically, I want to give this cross-axis alignment of start, okay? And for the main axis alignment, for the horizontal alignment, I want to make this one center. All right. Now if I save it, and we can come here, as you can see now it's centered. When we put the other section, it should be centered on this side and on that side. And if the screen is bigger, it will be aligned properly. Let's actually close the sidebar. We don't need it for now. And we can come just under this constraint box, that is platforms. We can come here, and under this comments section, we can create and we can insert another widget. First of all, let's actually let's insert some sized box here, because we actually aligned our widget at the center. That's why we want to have some spacing between these two platforms and skills section. So we can have sized box, and for the width, we can have 50 width. Okay, let's make this const as well. And now for the skills section, first of all, let's create one item, and then we can loop through our skills and display all of them. All right. So first of all, we want to use wrap for this one as well, and children of the wrap will be chip widget. We want to use chip widget for these skills, if you remember in the Figma design. So we have chip widget. And for the chip widget, it has type label. We can use text widget. And for now, it's just empty. This chip widget has a avatar as well. That is basically an item on the left side. Okay. For the avatar, I want to use image widget of asset. For now, it's empty. And then let's actually give this some padding as well. I mean, for our chip, we can give it here padding edge inset. So for that padding, I want to use symmetric. So first of all, let's give this vertical. For the vertical, I want to have 12, and then for the horizontal, let's give this 16. For the horizontal, it's better to have a little bit bigger. It looks kind of good if it's bigger for the horizontal space. Now we have that, and then before this, let's show our image and title by looping through our skill items. Let's create a for loop, I, and that will be equal to 0, and I is less than our skill items. If you remember, it's inside here in this file, skill items.dart. We have skill items with image and title. It's just it is the same. The structure is the same as the platforms. So it should be less than the length of the skill items, and let's increment I. Now we can have these skill items, and first of all, we can come here, get the current item at this current index, and we can access that specific image path. And then for this one, let's get the current one, and for it we can have that title. Okay, let's access that title. Now if I save it, okay, you can see here we have our chip that has an overflow. If I make this bigger, you can see all of our chips are here. Okay, we have some error with image as well, and we'll fix it. So let's make it smaller. And now, first of all, the reason why we have this issue, because we did not give this specific width, and we need to wrap this wrap widget with flex as well, flexible actually. So first of all, let's wrap it with constraint box. Let's do that. constraint box. For the constraints, I want to give this max width like we did for the platform section on the left side. So max width of 500, and we can actually make this const, and let's wrap it with flexible as well, because we want our chips to go to the next line when there is not enough space. Okay, for it we can actually wrap it with flexible widget, flexible, just like that. Now if I save it, okay, as you can see, when there is not enough space, it actually goes to the other section. I think here we made a mistake for the text. That's my bad. This should be actually title, okay? And this one should be image. That's why we have that strange error that the image not showing up, and for the text title there is the path of the image. So if I save it, it should show properly. Okay, you can see here all of our skills showed up properly. Now we need some spacing between these chips. So we can come here for the wrap widget. We can give this a horizontal and vertical spacing. So should be 10, this one, okay? And for the run spacing, oops, not key, but let's give this run spacing of the same as spacing, okay? If I save it, okay, now it has proper spacing. Now if I make this a little bit bigger, it should show up just like this, okay? As you can see here, we did not add some spacing between this title and this section. Okay, let's do that first. For it, we can come up here, and here we can give this sized box, okay? Size box. For the height, let's give probably 50. Let's give 50 and see how it looks. Let's make this const and let's save it. Let's take a look at it. Okay, it looks good. 50, I think it's good. The last thing is, let's actually change the background color of these chip widgets as well. So we can come down here. This chip widget has a background color. For the background color, we'll use the same color for our platform cards, okay? Custom color of PG Light 2. Let's save it. And if we come down, you can see our chip widgets have the same color as this card color. So that's it. Now we can actually clean up our code and move on to the mobile version of this section. Now this is the desktop version. So first of all, actually, let's clean up our code. For now, we can come up here, this platforms and this row. We can leave the title as it is, because on mobile and on desktop, the title stays the same. We just want to grab all of this row widget and put this on its own file as a desktop version of this section, okay? So that's why I come down here, and from here I will come all the way up to this row. I'll copy it, remove it, or just cut it, and I'll come here inside my widgets. I'll create a new file, and the new file name will be so what is it, skill, not skill, yeah, skill, skills desktop dart. So I'll create a new stateless widget, so that will be skills desktop, and instead of this placeholder, I remove all of it and paste the code I copied from the other file, the desktop version of our skills section. So let's import all of them. First of all, this, we have platform items that's imported, and our colors as well. We can come down and see that we do not have any issues. So now we can save this file. We can come here, and inside our home page.dart file, we can import our desktop skills desktop section, okay? Skills desktop, and we can actually make this const, not that, we can actually make this one const. If I save it, everything should work as expected. Okay, now it's showing properly. Now we are done with skills desktop. For the desktop version, it's done. We can move on to mobile version. For the mobile version of this section, let's first refer to our Figma design. You can see here, this is the section for our mobile version. On this section, our skills or these chip widgets will stay the same, but for our platforms, this card widgets layout will be a little bit different, because when the screen is really small, this grid view will not fit on that screen. Okay, let's say there is a mobile and that mobile's width is really small, there might be overflow issue. That's why we want to change the layout a little bit so that we can place each of these cards on one line. All right, not on one line, per line. So basically this will be column view. You'll see what I mean while we are coding it. Okay, so let's close this Figma design. First, we can comment out this skills desktop and create a new column widget for the children. The first one will be platforms, and the second one will be skills. Now we need to define a breakpoint for this section. For desktop, we want to show this skills desktop widget until certain point. I mean, until we reach to that specific width, and then we want to show mobile version. You can say that we already have this k-min desktop width. We can use that as a condition, but when I tested it, it actually did not fit very well on the screen. That's why I want to have another variable that is kind of medium desktop width. Let's create that, and I'll explain it while we're coding it. That will be MED, medium, K, medium desktop width, and I want to set it to 800. All right, so this will be our breakpoint for this section, for this specific section. So we can save it and come to this home page.dart file, and here let's remove this. First one, let's start with a K platforms. We'll have a container widget, and for the container, first of all, I want to give this a margin. The margin will be edge insets dot only. I want to give a margin only to the bottom, okay, and that will be 5. This will be a space between each of our platform cards. And the next one will be width. For the width, we can use just screen width, not screen width. Let's actually make it double dot max finite. And then let's give this decoration. The decoration will be similar to the decoration we used for our desktop version. So first of all, color. For the color, I want to use BG light 2, and for the radius, let's use border radius, and border radius of circular. Border radius of circular, just right here, and that will be 5. All right. Now the decoration is done. Let's give a comma here. Now we can give the child. For the child, that will be list style, just like the desktop version. And the first one will be our avatar. Okay, let's not avatar, leading. Okay, leading, and leading will be image. For now, it's empty. We'll loop through our platform items and display them on each card. And the next one will be title. For the title, we can use text. For now, it's just empty. And let's actually give this asset a width of 26. What else? Okay, let's give this padding as well. For the padding, edge insets dot symmetric, and for the vertical, we can give just 10. And for the horizontal, let's make it bigger. Okay, let's make this const. Now, before we save it, we don't want any error. That's why let's actually loop through our platform items. Int I equal to 0, I is less than platform items length, and let's increment I. Now we can grab this platform items, come down here, and on this image asset, we can get the item at the current index, and for the value, we will get image value, and we will replace this text value with that platforms at the current index and with the title. Okay, now if I save it, okay, we can come down. As you can see, this is what I meant on the Figma. So basically on mobile, we want to display them like this. All right, you can see we have spacing, padding, everything like in our desktop, but its layout is different. So let's make this a little bit smaller because we're developing for mobile, right? Now what I want to do is I want to come just below here about the skills comment, and I'll create a sized box widget, or insert a sized box widget with a height of 50. All right, you can make this const, and below this skills comment, we can create our skills chip widgets. All right, that will be wrap again, and for the children, we can use chip widget just like before. Actually, let's copy paste from our desktop version because it's pretty much the same. All right, let's come to this skills desktop.dart file, and I'll scroll down all the way down here. Okay, I want to copy all of this, and I'll come here, I'll paste it. Actually, what you can do is to have to create this, or to grab this widget, this skills widget, and put it inside its own file as a new widget, and you can actually use that widget inside this one and on desktop as well. Okay, because they are pretty much the same. All right, and we want to give this wrap some spacing as well. For the spacing, that will be pretty much the same, 10. All right, and for the run spacing, that will be 10. All right, okay, let's make it double. And the last one, I want to align it as alignment. Oops, not alignment. We want to use wrap alignment off center. All right, now if we save it, if we come down, you can see we have our skills and this platform items. Now we can clean up our code and show each version, mobile or desktop, based on our window size. All right, so let's actually come down this column widget. We can grab this widget all the way up here. We can copy or cut it, remove it from here, and we open our sidebar. Inside our widgets folder, we create a new widget. The name of the file will be skills mobile, yes, mobile.dart. All right, a new widget that will be a stateless widget, and that will be skills mobile. All right, not like that, skills mobile, something like this. And we can replace this placeholder with our copied widget. All right, let's import our missing components. Let's import this custom color as well. Now we can use this skills mobile widget. Let's first of all save it. Let's come to this file, our homepage.dart file, and here let's comment this out first. Let's uncomment this actually. We can set a condition. If you remember, we have this size.dart file, right? We created a new variable that is k medium desktop width, and we are going to use this variable as a condition. We can come here, we can check if constraints dot max width is bigger than or equal to k medium desktop width. If that's the case, then we want to show this skills desktop. All right, else we want to show our skills mobile widget. Okay, just like that, we can make it const. And now if I save it, now both desktop and mobile version of this section is ready. As you can see, now it's showing up a mobile. So if we make it bigger, it will show up this desktop version. So if we make it smaller, now we have mobile version. Okay, let's actually change this cards max width, let's set some boundaries or limitation for the size of these platform cards and this chip list widgets. All right. So for that, we can come here. We can wrap our column widget with widget, and that widget will be constrained box. And for the constraints, we can have box constraints, and we can give max width. All right, for max width, I will set it to 500, and let's make this const. The reason why I'm setting this 500 as max width is because I want to have some limitation on the width of these cards and chip widgets, because if you remember, we have this size.dart file, and inside here we have this K medium desktop width, right? And this is 800. Until this section or this window size reaches 800, it will show up mobile version, and we will have this big space here, and this list widgets will be kind of long, so we don't want that. We want to have some limitation on this. We can have space around it, but we don't want these cards to be this big. All right, that's why I set this to 500. If it reaches to 500, the size of these widgets will not change. All right, if we save it, if we come down here, you can see we have this layout. Now this is much better than before, right? So we can close this file, and we can close this one as well, and we don't need skills desktop. And now we can move on to the projects section here. Before we start coding this project section, let's take a look at our Figma design first. So let me open up my browser. As you can see, this is our project section, which contains two subsections, work projects and hobby projects, which are pretty much the same in terms of UI, but each card should be a different project. And the card, as you can see, have the image as a header and title, subtitle, and some icon buttons. So we're going to use either of these buttons. We can decide it while we're coding it. All right. So for the mobile version, the design is pretty much the same, but we are going to line up all of the cards in the one line because our screen size is smaller. Okay, we don't need that much complicated UI for this. So let's close this window for now, and before we modify this container or project section, let's prepare all of our images for each project, and then we need to prepare project utils as well that contains information about all the projects I want to include in this profile. Right, first of all, let's open this sidebar, and inside this assets folder I want to create a new folder, and the name of the folder will be projects, just like that. And I want to place all the images of my projects inside this projects folder. I already prepared my project images. Please prepare yours and bring all of those images inside that folder, just like that. Okay, now I can just close this assets folder. I can close this one as well. And before I forget it, I want to come down here. I want to modify my pubspec YAML file. Okay, so basically I want to include that projects folder here as well, just like that, projects. Okay, I want to save it. Oh, we should actually put another slash as well, because we want to include everything inside this projects folder. Okay, now let's close this pubspec YAML file, and I want to make it, okay, before that, let's create another folder as well. Now I want to create another folder inside this lib folder, and the name of the folder will be utils, which should contain all the information about each project, which will be used to populate our project cards. So here inside this utils folder, I'll create a new file. The name of the file will be project utils.dart. Okay, I already created the utils for this because I don't want you to watch me while I'm coding all of those information, which are pretty kind of boring, so because yours is different than mine. I'll copy that and put it right here, just like that. Let me make this smaller to the original size. So what this project util has is that, as you can see, this is one project utils class, which is a model that has image, title, subtitle, and the links of the project. So, and then I have two lists, which is hobby projects, and if I scroll all the way down here, work projects. And each project utils list contains project utils model, which has image that points to the path of the image, and title of the project, subtitle, which is some information about that project, and the link. As you can see, some projects has Android link, some of them iOS and Android. And if I scroll down, we have some web link as well. So basically, this is the the information about each project. Please create your own. Yours should be different from mine. So what you should do is to create this model in a new file. I named it project utils, and then create two lists, or if you only have hobby projects, create a list which contains all of your project utils, just like this. Okay, I hope you understand that. Because it's different from mine, I mean, because your projects are different from mine, I did not put it somewhere so that you can copy it and paste it inside your project. Okay, I'll save it and close it. What I want to do now, before we modify this container, I want to stop the application and relaunch it again, because we made some big changes. Basically, we modified the assets folder and pubspec YAML. We should stop the app and relaunch it again so that all of the assets are shipped together with build app. Okay, I want to stop it. Okay, now all of our assets should be shipped together with build app. Now we can modify our container. So first of all, I want to change this double max finite to screen width, which we define it above. And I don't want height for the container, because I want I want my container to have a height of its content. Okay, and let's give this padding as well, because we are giving some padding to each section. If we scroll up, we gave padding to this one as well. We can just copy it and scroll down and put it here, just like that. Okay, so we don't see anything for now. First, let's give this child as well. For the child, I want to use column. As you saw earlier in our Figma design, we have multiple widgets which should be placed inside one widget, and that is a column widget. So the first one will be work projects title. Okay, just like that. And the second one is work projects card. Okay, cards, we can say work project cards. First of all, let's put our title here. Okay, we can scroll up, we can reuse this widget, basically copy and paste it inside our section here. All right, now if I save it and scroll down, as you can see, here we have this section. So let's actually change the title, and that will be work projects. Okay, you know what I want to do now is to actually comment out all of the sections above, so that we don't have to scroll down all the time when we save our changes. So I can come all the way up until this main section, just like that, and I can just comment it out. Now if I save it, okay, you can see we have work projects title left only. All right, now what we want to do is to create one card for our project, and we can populate the other cards from our project utils file, which we created earlier. Okay, So first, let's create our card. Let's take a look at our Figma design one more time. Okay, you can see we should have an image, title, subtitle, and some buttons. Okay, I'm going to use these buttons, not these ones. If you prefer these ones, you can use these ones as well. Okay, I prefer these ones. So let's close it, and let's create a container first. And for the container, I want to give this a height. Okay, let's give this 280. Okay, and the width, let's give this the width of 250, because the width should be a little bit smaller than the height, so that we have a kind of a beautiful card. Okay, and then the next one will be our decoration. Okay, for the decoration, we'll use box decoration, not box constraints, but box decoration, just like that. I'll have border radius, and the border radius should be a circular of 10. And I want to give this color as well. For the color, I'll grab my custom colors, and that should be BG Light 2. Okay, this is going to be the background color of this container. Now we can save it. You can see we have this card. Okay, let's put our image inside this card first. So first of all, let's use child property of container, and it's going to be column again, because we have widgets that should be placed vertically. And children, the first one, image dot asset, and let's give this assets, and it was projects. Okay, and I think I have probably 02.png. I should have this kind of project. Okay, let's save it. Okay, you can see we have this card, but we have a problem. As you can see here, the edges are outside of our container, which actually which is hiding the border radius we gave to the container. Okay, we want to get rid of that issue. So we can come up here to the container, and we can give this clip behavior. And the clip behavior I want to use is anti-alias. Okay, if I save it, now we have a nice card. Okay, now let's give this image a little bit of size as well, because we don't want the image to take up this much space. So first of all, I'll give this height, and the height will be 140, and for the width, I want to give the width of 250, because the width should match the width of the card. Okay, or the container. And then if we save it, oops, you can see we have this card, but the width did not match yet. The reason is because we need to give this fit property as well. Okay, that will actually resize the image, or make the image bigger to cover the entire card. So that will be box fit, and box fit cover should fix our problem. All right, now what I want to do is to create the title of this card. Okay, for that we can use text widget. All right, text widget. For the text, for now I will just say just title. Okay, and styling, for the styling, let's give this text style, and it will be font weight of font weight. Let's make this probably 600. I think 600 should be good. Okay, for the font size, I want to give, okay, let's actually save it and see how it looks. Okay, I think title size, the font size of the title looks a little bit good, I think. Okay, let's change the color as well, because we already have a primary white color. Okay, color, custom colors, not BG light, but white primary. All right, that is going to be the color of the title. And then what I want to do is copy this title just like that, and put a comment here, subtitle, and place it just like that, and some dummy subtitle about the project. That's it for now. All right, and let's put some comment here as well. So that will be title, and this is image, right? Project image. Now if I save it, okay, as you can see, our title and subtitle font size is the same. We don't want that. I want to make the font size of this. First of all, let's remove the font weight, and let's give this font size probably 10. I think 10 should be good. And then for the color, instead of white primary, I want to use white secondary. Okay, that's kind of not that white. Let's save it. You can see we have something coming up together. Now if we come up here for the column, to line up our title and subtitle to the left, we can change some properties of this column. So what I want to do is give this column cross-axis alignment. The cross-axis alignment should be start. Okay, and let's give this main axis size as well. For the main axis size, I want to give minimum main axis size. All right, if we save it, as you can see, it's place it on the left. Let's give this some padding to the title and subtitle. We can wrap this with padding widget. With padding, and for the padding, I want to give from left to left, top, right, bottom. Let's use that one. For the left, it can be 12, and for the top, it should be a little bit bigger, and for the right, it should be the same, and bottom should be the same. All right, and then what I want to do is wrap my subtitle as well with a padding widget. For the subtitle, we'll use the same from left, top, right, bottom, and for the left, it will be 12. For the top, we don't need any padding. We can set it to 0 because we already have a padding which is set for the title. Okay, the space between this title and subtitle should be enough with that padding. So right to the right, it should be the same, and then to the bottom should be the same as well. Now let's save it. You can see this looks a little bit better. Okay. Now the last part is setting the bottom or footer part of this card. Okay, so we can come down here and write another comment, and that's going to be footer. For the footer, we can use a container, because the color of the footer, if you remember, on our Figma design, the color of the footer is a little bit different, so we want to use that. Let's close it. And for the container, first of all, I want to give this color, and for the color, I want to use custom color of BG Light 1. This is the one, this is the color I want to use. And let's give this padding as well, because we want to have some space that wraps the items inside this container. So first of all, horizontally, not horizontally, but we need to use edge insets symmetric, and we can give this horizontal. For the horizontal, that should be 12, because the alignment should be the same as the other items of this card, like title and subtitle. And for the vertical, it should be a little bit smaller than the horizontal. All right, let's make this const as well. Now, if I save it, as you can see, we have this footer part, and if we place a spacer here, okay, let's make it const. If I save it, you can see it's now at the bottom. Okay, let's give this a child. The child should be row, and the row children. For the children, the first one will be text. Okay, text, and the text will be available on this one, just like that. And for the styling, I want to give text style of color. Let's grab our custom color, and then that will be yellow secondary. All right, and for the font size, let's make that 10 as well. So it should be good if we save it. Okay, now we have this text, and we need to place our icon buttons. Okay, so the first one, oh, if you remember, we already have our Android and iOS icons and web icon as well from our previous section. So we are going to use that. Image dot asset. Okay, and that will be, what was the name of the image or icon? Let's check it. Okay, as you can see here, iOS icon. If you check that, yeah, this one, iOS icon. And then where is our Android icon? Here, our Android icon. Do we have web one as well? And web icon. Okay, we're going to use these icons. So let's close our sidebar and assets. So let's grab our Android icon .png. Okay, just like that. Copy paste it. So this one, instead of Android, it should be iOS, and copy paste one more time, and this one should be web. All right, now if I save it, okay, we have icons that are available. Okay, so we need to give this some size. So let's give this a width. Okay, so the width should be, for the Android, let's give it 17. Let's see how it looks. Okay, I think it's good. 17 looks good. And we'll just copy this width and put it to these ones as well. Separate it with comma, and let's save it. Okay, I think this iOS icon is a little bit smaller, so I want to change the order of it as well. Let's put it here. And this one, let's make this 19. Maybe it will match. Okay, I think this is good. This looks good. So we want to move these icons to the right. So for that, we can use just spacer and make it const. Oops, not like that. Add the const, just like that. If I save it, okay, now this looks good. So we should add some spacing between these icons. So for that, I want to wrap this image with a padding, because we can actually give this a kind of sized box as well, just like that. Sized box width of probably 6. Okay, we can do it just like that, and it will give some size, but I don't want it because not every project has all 3 links. Okay, some of the links might be missing, and in that case we don't want some empty space when the link is missing. All right, so that's why I will just remove this size box, and I'll wrap my image with a padding. So the padding will be only to, let's say, to the left. Let's give to the left of 6. Okay, and I'll do the same to my web icon as well. Let's wrap it with, where is that, padding, and for the padding, paste it. You can see we have some spacing right now. I think this looks good. Okay, the next thing I want to do is to wrap our image with some gesture detector widget. So because we want each of these icons to be tappable, you can use gesture detector for these icons, but the problem with the gesture detector is that it does not show the cursor. Okay, let me actually show what I mean. Let's wrap it with widget, and let's wrap it with gesture detector. Okay, and let's put on tap, just like that. If we save it, if I hover over it, it doesn't show any, or it doesn't change this cursor to pointer, like what is it, the finger pointer usually you see on websites. When the text or button is clickable, this cursor changes to that kind of finger pointer, right? So we want that effect. So you can achieve it, you can achieve the same effect in a different way as well, but I want to just go with an easy way, which is inkwell, using inkwell widget. So if I save it, now if I hover over it, oops, on Android, oh okay, previously I think I hover over it on iOS, so basically this Android should change the cursor. When we hover over it, it changes. Okay, let me change this to gesture detector again, oops, and show you what I mean. Okay, because previously I think I hover over on iOS icon. Okay, as you can see here, there's nothing, no change of cursor. So let's change this to our inkwell again. Let's copy it and let's wrap our icons with the widget and replace it with inkwell. And for this iOS as well, let's wrap it with widget, and that should be inkwell. All right, now I can save it. Now if I hover over on each of the icons, the cursor changes. Okay, we want these icons to be tappable, and when each icon is tapped, it should open a new tab and show you the project. Okay, so now we can come up here. Let's actually grab this widget, not this one, but where is it? Yeah, this one. Let's actually grab this card and put it inside its own file and reuse that for our cards. Okay, let's come here and let's use a extract widget, this one, and we can up here name our widget, and the name of the widget will be project card. Okay, project card widget, just like that. If I press enter, now we have this project card widget. Oops, let me change the name, rename the symbol, project card. Okay, if I do that, oops, now my Dart analyzer has terminated. Let's reload it. Okay, now if I try to change the name of this project card, it should give me the, okay, now as you can see we have that project. Let's try it. Okay, now the name is properly renamed, and as you can see, this is the widget. And what I want to do, oops, what I want to do is to grab this widget, all of it, okay, just like that, copy it or cut it, and come here. Inside this widgets folder, I'll create a new file. The name of the file will be project card.dart. Okay, now here we can paste the copied widget, and if I import our material, most of the errors should go away, and we can kind of import this colors as well. And now what I want to do is to pass a project utils model. If you remember, we created a, where is that? This inside our utils folder, we have project utils, right? And I want to pass this project util to that project card widget. Okay, so let's close it and project card, and here I want to project utils model, and I want to name it project, and then we can say require it this dot project. All right, so what I can do is get this project, and instead of all of this, instead of hard coding it, we can use project dot image. Okay, that's what I want to do. And for the title, I want to do the same. Okay, title, and we can make this style const, and come down here, and for this one, for this we use subtitle and make this one const as well. And come down here, and we need make this const first because it's just the hard-coded text. And here we need some conditions. If we need to check if the link for iOS, Android, and web is available. If that's the case, we want to show the icon button. All right. First of all, we will say project dot iOS link not equal to null. Then we will do some action here. All right. So, and come here, and for this one, I'll check if project dot Android link not equal to null. I want to do some action here. All right. And the last one is web. For the web, I'll check if project dot web link not equal to null. Then I want to do some action just right here. Right. So in order to open a new tab without any package, without using any package, you can actually use JS. Basically, Dart can communicate with JavaScript. So we are going to utilize, or we are going to take advantage of that. So what I want to do is here, I want to import a new Dart.js. Okay, I'll import that as JS. Now what I want to do, I'll grab this JS and come down here, and I want to all the way down. As you can see, the first one is iOS link, right? I want to open the iOS link if that's available. So for that, I want to use JS dot context, okay, context, and call method. I want to call a method, and the name of the method will be open. Okay, and then I want to open or I want to pass the link to this call method as a list. Okay, I'll grab this iOS link and pass it, and it should open the iOS link. All right, and you'll actually see it what I mean when we pass the actual link to our card. And we come down here, we'll do the same for this Android link as well. I'll copy Android link and replace this iOS link with that. Okay, and let's copy this and come to the web section and put it here, and this, instead of this Android, we will say web link. All right, now if I save it, oops, nothing is going to change. We need to remove or get rid of these errors first. I'll come here and I'll import that project card. Okay, I'll do that, project cards, and for the project we can use, let's say, work projects. Okay, work project utils dot first. For now, let's just pass this and see what we can see. Now, as you can see, it is pretty much the same, and we have the actual data. Now, if I tap on this, on the icon, it will open a new tab. If I try it, as you can see, it opened a new tab on the browser, and it opened the actual project via the link we passed to it. All right, that's that. Now we created our first card, so let's populate all of our projects. Okay, I think let's actually change the size of the text. This text, it is kind of too small. It looks to me too small. Okay, so let's go to our project card, and here I want to scroll all the way down to the subtitle here, and I want to change the font size. I will make it 12. Let's change it to 12. Okay, this seems a little bit better, I think. Yeah, now we need to change the height of the card as well. So let's make, instead of this, 290, and for the width, I think width we can make this 60. Okay, if I save it, okay, looks like this is good. And we need to change the image as well because we have some space on the right. Okay, so let's change this to 60. If I save it, okay, this looks good. I think it's better than before because the text is much more readable than before. And now I can close this project card widget. And now what I want to do to populate all of these hobby projects and these work projects. Okay, so first let's wrap our project card widget with wrap widget. Okay, because that will enable us to place cards based on the size. So I'll wrap, oops, not that. I want to wrap it with column, and I'll change this column to wrap, just like that. Okay, so then I want to loop through, let's create int I equal to 0, and then I is less than, first should be work projects, work project utils dot length, okay, and I plus plus. Now what I want to do, instead of this work project utils first, I want to grab the one at the current index. Now if I save it, we should have multiple projects, as you can see, just like that. Okay, we need to give this some spacing as well between the cards. First of all, the spacing, let's give this 25. I think 25 should be good. And for the run spacing, let's give 25 as well. Okay, if I save it, this looks good. All right, we need to give some spacing to between the title and the cards as well. So for that, we can use here sized box and height. Let's give this 50. 50 should be good. All right, and let's make this const. If we save it, okay, this looks better. Now we need to display our hobby projects as well. So for that, we can copy this from here until all the way to our wrap, I mean to the end of the wrap. Okay, just like that. I can copy it. This was work projects title, and then work project cards, and here I'll paste it, the one I copied, right? Instead of this work projects, we'll change it to hobby projects, and this one to hobby projects as well. And this was the title, and come here to this hobby projects, and then instead of this work project utils, we want to grab our hobby project utils. All right, and then pass that to this one as well. If I save it, now we have work projects up here, 3 work projects, and as you can see, 6 hobby projects. And let's give some space between the end of the work projects and the beginning of hobby projects. Okay, for it, we will come up here, just right here. I want to place a, oops, not like that, sized box. And for the height, let's make this a little bit bigger, probably 80, and let's make this const. If I save it, now it looks better. All right, good. As you can see, we have this. So if we change the size, if we make this smaller, as you can see, we have our cards lined up together in the one line. Okay, that's what we want for the mobile. So if we make it big, if we make it really big, it's like that, and it's kind of big. I think it's better to place maximum 3 cards on the one row. All right, that's what we want. So just like that, okay? We don't want more than 3 cards in the one line. Let's make it smaller again to the original size, just like that. For it, we can actually put some constraints for our wrap widget. So here, let's start with our work project. I'll wrap it with a widget, and that will be constraint box. Oops, not like that. And constraint constrained box, okay, just like that. And for the constraints, box constraints, I want to give this max width. Max width, I think 800 should be good to place 3 cards on the one row, okay? And the next one will be this one, hobby projects. We'll wrap this wrap widget with box constraints as well, or constraint box widget, constraint box. And for the constraints, we can put that one, okay, just like that. Oops, let's remove that. Now if I save it and let's make this bigger. Oops, I think 800 is not enough. Let's make this 8 instead of 8. Let's make this 900. Let's change it. Okay, I think that's not enough as well. 950. Let's change it to that one. I wonder why this is placing only 2 cards. Oh yeah, the reason is because, okay, we can leave it as 900, and we need to change this one as well. We just changed only hobby projects. If I save it, now you can see we have 3 cards per row, okay, just like that. I think this is good. So now what I want to do is to get this sections widget and put it on its own file. That's what I want to do right now. All right, so for that we can get this widget. Okay, let's actually copy this widget just like that all the way down and copy it. Okay, cut it, so we no longer have that widget, and we come here, and here inside this widget we'll create a new file. Widgets folder will create a new file, and the name of the file will be projects section dart. And let's create a new state list widget, and that will be projects section. Okay, and we can place our widget. Okay, as you can see, we have some import issues. Let's fix them. And for this screen width, let's create it here. Final screen width, and that will be media query. Oops, media query dot of. We'll pass the context, and then we get the size width. Okay, that should give the screen width. And we have some import issues here as well. Let's grab or import the project card, and let's import project utils. So this should fix our errors, and there is one more here. If we remove that, now if I save it, our section should go away. Oops. Oh, it's still there because we did not save this file yet. So here, let's come here, and instead of all of those widgets, we can just grab our project section. Okay, project section, and we can make this const. If I save it, now nothing should change. As you can see, all of our projects are here. All right, if we make it smaller, now we have our cards. Let's line it up vertically, just like that. Let's make it bigger, 2. Okay, now let's see how it looks with all of the sections. Okay, let's do it like that. Oops, we can do it. If I save it, okay, now these are our sections. If we scroll down, as you can see, we have our project section. Okay, let's give some spacing over here for work projects. Where is that? Skills section and project section, right? So we can place sized box right here, and for the height 30. I think we were giving space of 30. Let's save it and let's scroll down. Okay, now this looks much better. All right, now our project section is done. We can move on to contact section. First of all, let's remove this width and height from our container and add some padding to it. So for the padding, I want to add edge insets from left to right. For the left, it will be 25, and for the top, 20, and for the right, 25, and for the bottom, let's make this 60. Okay, so for the bottom I want this to be bigger, and let's make this const. Now we can change our container's color. Instead of this blue gray, I want to use my own custom color. Okay, so for the custom color I want to use BG light 1. So now let's actually copy this height with the sized box with the height of 30, and let's put it here because we want to separate our section from the section above. Okay, so now we can give this container child, and for the child will be column. That should be obvious. And for the children, first of all, we need a title. Okay, so for the title, that is text of. So we can make this get in touch. So then we need to give this some styling. So text style of, first of all, let's give this font weight. For the font weight of, we can give this font weight of bold. And then font size. For the font size, 24. I mean, that's the font size of our title for each section. And for the color, I want to give this my own custom color of white primary. Okay, now if we save it, oops, we have 2 commas. If we save it and we scroll down, here we have get in touch section, just the title for now. Okay, let's first of all kind of comment out all of the other sections so that we have this section to work on. Okay, so I will just select from here all the way up here to the main section, and let's comment this out. And if we save it, okay, now as you can see, we have just this section. So it's better for Dart compiler to compile this small widget instead of all the other widgets together. All right, so we have our title. Now we need to have our text fields. Okay, so let's first of all take a look at our Figma design for our section. As you can see, this is get in touch section. We have 3 text fields and 1 button, and we have this SNS links that are icons which corresponds to each of our SNS profiles. All right, so if we scroll to the right, we have the same UI, but the layout for these 3 text fields, email and name, will be a little bit different. We have here row, as you can see, your email and name, and this one will be column. So we just need to modify, we just need to set some condition to lay out these text fields based on the screen width. All right, So that should be pretty simple. Let's close this. And now here what I want to do first, let's give some sized box to separate our widget from the title. So that should be 50 should be enough. Okay, let's make this const as well, not that one but this one. Okay, const, and the next one will be our row widget. That will be a row for now, so that is row, and inside this row I want to create a text field. Okay, so text field, let's wrap our text field with a flexible widget. Flexible because we might have a overflow issue. Okay, I mean unbounded width issue with our text field. So if we save it, okay, here as you can see we have this our text field. Okay, we're going to give this some decoration and change the text field to our specific use case. So here to our text field, first of all I want to give this style, common text style. Okay, so for the text style I want to first of all give color. So basically the color should be pretty much it for our text field's text style. Okay, so color, our custom color, let's grab that one, and we need our not BG light but scaffold BG color. Okay, and then I want to give this some decoration. Text field has a decoration property which takes input decoration. All right, so for the input decoration, first of all I want to give this some padding, content padding, and that should be edge insets of all. Let's give this 16, okay, to the all sides. And then I want to make this text field filled with a color, so that's why we need to set our filled property to true, and let's give this some fill color as well. For the fill color, let's grab our custom color, and for this one what I want to do is white, probably secondary. That should be our color of our text field. Okay, for the text field. And then let's give focused color to this one. Okay, not focused color, focused border, and for that one we can give this outline input border, and first of all we need some border radius. If you remember, in our Figma design we have some circular border radius for our text field, so that should be 10 should be enough. And for the side, for our border side, we don't need any border side. Okay, so that's why we can set it to none. Now, okay, let's come all the way here. Let's actually separate this and this one as well, Before we save it, let's just format it by hand a little bit. We have this focused border, and we can give this the next border, that is enabled border. That should be enabled border. For the enabled border, we basically copy the same and put it here. Okay, and the next one is just border. So for the border, we will copy paste the same as well. Okay, now what we need to do is we can just save it. Okay, now we have our text field, as you can see. All right, let's try to give this hint text. Okay, inside our decoration, let's try to give some hint text so that we can see what color or what style it will look like. Okay, your name. Let's save it. and let's check. Okay, white, it's white, so we don't want that color. That's why we need to give this some hint style as well. Okay, hint style. For the hint style, let's give this text style. Basically, we just need to change the color of it. So for the color, custom color. Okay, instead of this BG light one, I want to give this hint dot dark. Okay, so now if I save it, and we can see here we have our hint text with a different color. So let's make this const, and now we have kind of some repetition. Instead of giving copy pasting all this outline input border and setting them to each border property, we can just take it and assign it to one variable or create a get function and assign them to this. Okay, so what I want to do is I'll just grab this, copy it and remove it, and come all the way down here. I will just come here, and here I will create a outline input border. Okay, and then I'll create a get function, and that will be get input border. And what I can do, just return this outline input border from this get function, and just get this get input border, copy it, and come here and put it here, just like that. Okay, and we can remove this from enabled border as well and put it here, get input border, and assign that the same thing to this one as well. All right, now we have our text field. Let's make this const. Okay, now if we save it, it should look the same. Okay, good. Let's make this const as well, and now we can grab this text field and put it inside its own file, because we don't want to use this text field for we want to use this text field for our 3 text fields, but we don't want to repeat the same decoration to each text field. That's why we can just put it on its own file and use that widget instead of this text field. We just use our custom text field. So what I want to do right now is just grab this text field all the way like this. Okay, I cut it or copy it and remove it, and I'll come here inside this widgets folder. I'll create a new file, custom text field .dart. Okay, and here let's create a new state list widget. The name of the widget will be custom text field. Now we can replace this placeholder with our text field widget, which we copied from our different file. Okay, so let's import all the missing. Okay, we have this get input border, which is defined down here. Let's copy it and remove it from here and put it inside its own file. Okay, now all of our errors went away, and what I want to do is right now is to have some I want this widget to receive some properties so that we can actually modify this text field when we use in different places. Okay, final. So first of all, I want to pass a controller. Okay, text editing controller. Let's pass controller. Okay, and the next one, I want to pass a max line as well, because we want to modify the text field's max line for our message text field. Okay, and the next one will be final string. That will be hint text. Okay, now what I want to do, let's put all of our required parameters inside our custom text field, just like that. If we put the comma just here, and we can just copy our custom text field and come here, instead of this, all the text field that are kind of created here, we can just use our custom text field, just like that. Okay, and if we import it, we have a little bit of error because we actually made this controller. I mean, we made all of these properties required, so we need to remove them. Okay, so let's remove it. Let's remove it, and then we can basically make these variables nullable. Hint text can be nullable as well. And for this max line, I will just make this 1 as a default value, and then when we need it, we can change it. Okay, so now we need to put our we need to assign our passing parameters to our text field. So controller should be controller, and then max lines. So that will be our max line. Okay, instead of max line, let's change this max lines so that it matches with the text field's parameter. And the last one is hint text. Okay, hint text, this can be null, as you can see. So instead of your name, we can put hint text, just like that. Okay, now our custom text field is ready. We can save it, and then we can close this. And now what I want to do is put our hint text here, just like that. I copied it from there. You can just type it out if you want. Now if I save it, it just looks the same, as you can see, just like this. Okay, you can type it, you can remove it, just like that. Now we need to create 2 more text fields. The first one is name, and the second one is email. Okay, email, and just right under this row, I want to create another text field, and that will be your message, and I want to change the max lines for this. Okay, for the max line, let's set it to 20 and see how it looks. So let's save it. Okay, we have an issue because it should be the issue of with unbounded height for this one. Okay, so instead of that, let's remove this flexible widget, and then we can save it and see how it looks. Okay, now it looks good. We need to add some spacing between these. So first of all, I want to give a spacing between email and name text fields. Okay, that's what I want to do. So let's try that one. Just right here, sized box, and that should be width for this one. And for the width, I can set it to 15. Okay, let's make this const, not like that. Let's put it here for now. So, and then what I want to do, I want to come just under, where is it, under just right here, and instead of width, I want to give this height. Okay, if we save it, okay, now we have some spacing, as you can see, just like this. All right, the next one is we need to add a button that is kind of a send button. All right, so for that one, we can use let's add some comment here, send button, and this one will be message, and here this one will be email, and this one is name. Okay, now let's add our button. I want to use elevated button. So for the on pressed, it's just an empty function for now, and for the text, that will be get in touch. Okay, just like that. So if we save it, okay, now we have our button. So let's make this let's make our button to fit the width that is available for this button. All right, so for it, I want to wrap this elevated button with a widget, and that widget will be sized sized box. Okay, and for the width I want to give this double of max finite. Okay, and let's give this some spacing over here as well. Sized box of, for the spacing, height. Okay, height, that it will be 20, and then we can make this const just like that. Okay, as you can see, we have our text field that looks pretty similar to our Figma design. All right, now what I want to do here is, if I try to make this bigger, the text field and the button tries to match the available space. So we want to add some constraints to our text field and the button. Okay, that's what we want to do right now. So let's make this smaller again, and we'll come here. First of all, we will start to give some constraints to our text fields. Okay, so first one, let's try to wrap our row. We have our row. We can wrap this with a widget, and that will be constrained box. Okay, for the constraint box, I want to give this constraints, and then the box constraints. Let's try to give box constraints with max width. Okay, we need max width because we are trying to constrain the width, available width. So for that, I think 700 should be good. Okay, let's add const just like that, and I can copy this just like that, constraint box and the constraints property together. I'll just copy it, and I'll come down here. Now I'll wrap this custom text field with widget, and I'll just replace this widget with that constraint box. Okay, as you can see, we have constraint box. That's pretty much the same coming from here. So, and then we come here, we'll wrap our elevated button as well. We want to set some constraints to this elevated button as well. Wrap it with widget, and then it will be constraint box. Okay, now if I save it, and then if I try to make this bigger, now as you can see, we have our text field that does not exceed the constraints we set. Okay, now what we want to do is, let's make this smaller, and we can come down here just under our constraint box here. I mean our elevated button, that is button. Let's give add our SNS icons. Okay, icon button links. All right, so here just between this, I want to give this some divider. All right, a divider, and then for the divider, okay, we can make this const. All right, not like that, const, and then for this divider, let's wrap it with constraint box as well, because it will actually try to match the width the available width. Okay, we don't want that. Let's copy it, this one, and let's replace this widget with that. Okay, instead of 700, I want to make this kind of smaller, 300. All right, and then I want to wrap this constraint box with padding as well. Let's try it first. Let's try to save it and see how it looks. All right, as you can see, we have here small kind of line available. All right, so we want to, when the screen is smaller, when the screen gets smaller, even smaller than this, I want to add some padding here. Okay, actually I think it looks good. We don't need padding. Let's add some let's add a size box just right here. Let's give this height, and for the height, for the top, I want to give this 30. Okay, and let's make this const, and then let's just come under that divider and put some size, some space. Should be 15. I think 15 should be good. Let's try to save it and see how it looks. Okay, as you can see, we have this divider just under our elevated button. So now what I want to do is I want to have our wrap widget, and then what I want to do is to add all of our icons or kind of links for our social SNS profiles. All right, image, not image itself, but image asset. And for that, I want to have, let's say, first of all, github.png. github.png. If I try to save it, we should have an error. As you can see, we have an error because we don't have our github.png file available inside our assets. So that's what we need to do right now. I mean, we need to include our SNS icons inside our assets. So here I already have them. As you can see here, I have 5 of them: Telegram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, GitHub, all of them. Okay, I want to just drag them and drop them here. Basically, I'm including all of those icons. I can show you them here. As you can see, this is a Facebook icon or GitHub icon, all of them with a similar size. All right, you can just close it, and then we need, after we include some new assets, we need to close the application and rerun it again. So I'll close it, and let's rerun the application again. Let's see. Okay, now as you can see here, we have our GitHub icon because I only have one SNS icon defined inside our wrap widget. Okay, so first of all, I want to change the size, basically the width of it, and let's make this 28. Let's copy and paste this a couple of times. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have 5 items. As if you remember, I showed you 5 icons. Change the names. The first one is GitHub, and the next one is LinkedIn. So the third one is Facebook. The next one should be Instagram, and the last one will be Telegram. Okay, if you have more, you can add more inside this wrap widget. All right, so if we save it, now you can see we have our icons available. So let's actually give some spacing between them. First of all, spacing. For the spacing, 12 should be good. And for the run spacing, oops, not key. For the run spacing, the same, basically 12. And then for the alignment, let's make this not alignment, but wrap alignment of center. All right, let's give some a comma here. So now if I save it, okay, as you can see, we have our SNS icons. So we need to wrap each of our SNS icons with inkwell widget so that it is tappable. All right, let's do that. Let's wrap it with widget, and that will be inkwell. And then I will specify on tap. For now, it's just empty function. Let's save it. And if I hover over it, as you can see, it changed to finger. That shows that this icon is clickable. Okay, for these ones, it doesn't show anything. All right. So now let's apply this to all of our image icons. Okay, let's wrap it with widget, and let's change it just like this. Okay, and let's do it to this one as well. Wrap it with widget and replace this widget with our inkwell, and this one, wrap it with widget and change it with our inkwell, and the last one the same. For the last one, we'll do the same. just like this. Okay, now if I save it, all of our icons are kind of clickable. Now we can format our code a little bit so that it is kind of readable. Let's insert some commas here and here. If I save it, it should format the code properly. All right, now what we want to do, let's actually grab this section's code and put it in its own file. All right, so constraint box, just we scroll up here and let's grab this container from just right here, context section, all the way down here. Okay, all the way down here we have a lot of code, so it's not a good idea to put all of them here. So let's select it and I'll copy it and remove it. Okay, or I'll just cut it and I'll open my sidebar. Inside our widgets, I'll create a new file and the name of the file will be contact section .dart. Okay, now let's create a new state list widget. So that will be contact section. Instead of this placeholder, I'll insert or I'll put my own sections code just like that. Okay, so now I want to import some of the missing components just like that. Okay, we have our custom text field and all of it. Now we have a few errors. This one, if I remove it, it should look all right. Okay, now we come here and here we will get our contact section just like that. If we save it and if we save this one as well, okay, as you can see, everything looks the same. So what we want to do right now is to make this name and email text field dynamic, or it should change based on the width of the screen. Right now it's just the same. If we make it bigger, it will change the size horizontally. If we make it smaller, it will adjust the size horizontally. It doesn't do anything. We want to place them as a column instead of row when the screen size is smaller. All right, that's what we want to do. So what I want to do here, I'll just come up here to that, where is this, name and email text field, and I'll just grab this row together just like that. I'll copy it and remove it, or I'll just cut it and come down here. Here I'll create a new function and that should return row. Build, name of the function should be build, let's say build name email field desktop. Okay, that the name should be good enough, and then we can just return our row with two text fields. I'll just copy it, okay, and paste it just right here. Instead of desktop, I'll change this to mobile, and I'll change this to column. Okay, and let's replace this row with column as well. And now what I want to do, I'll just come up here where we removed our widget, and here I want to create a new layout builder widget. Okay, for the builder we can have this one just like that. We will have context and then constraints. So first of all, let's put a if condition. If let's say constraints, if constraints dot max width is bigger than or equal to k min desktop width. Remember this, we defined this variable inside our file, constants file. Okay, so then I want to return build email, was it name and email desktop. Okay, if it is until the condition is true, this condition is true, we want to return desktop version. Basically, if the available width matches with our k or equal to or bigger than our minimum desktop width, that is defined. If you remember, that's defined here inside our size.dart file inside our constants folder. Okay, if you forgot that, just a reminder. If that's the case, we return our desktop version of our name and email text fields. Else here, and then this will be our else. Then we will return build name and email mobile. Okay, so let's change this lowercase to camel case. Okay, name, just like that, and let's change this one as well. Should be readable, just like that. Now we have condition that shows different layout based on our screen width. Now what I want to do, I will just save it and see how it looks. Oops, we have an error. So that should be an error with our mobile section. Let's remove, oh, not that. We need our flex. Instead of that, here we have max width, right? So let's actually give this max height as well. So max height, for the max height, I will just set it to 100. Let's see how it looks. Okay, now as you can see, we have this two text fields that kind of fits to inside available space, but we don't have the spacing between them. So we'll come here to our mobile version of our fields, and instead of width, we need to have height. Okay, let's save it. So our text field is ready for both desktop and mobile version, and then what we want to do, we will come here and we'll try to add our functionality to each of these SNS icons. Okay, let's try that. So first of all, if you remember, we used JS that is kind of that shipped together with Dart for opening a new tab. So we're going to use the same in for our SNS links as well. Okay, so first of all, what I want to do is I will import that Dart.js. Okay, I'll import it as JS, just like that, and then we can come down here, and for each of our SNS icons, I'll use that JS.context. If you remember, we did the same for our project section. JS.context dot, so call method, we will call method, and the method will be, the name of the method will be open, and we are going to pass our link. Okay, so for the link, let's create a new constant file here inside our constants folder. Let's create a new file. The name of the file will be sns.links.dart, sns_links.dart. Okay, so here I already created that. I'll copy it from my second monitor or second screen. I'll just copy this and just, oops, not that. Let's close this. Let's put it here. Okay, so here you can replace these string values with your own links. If you have different SNS or SNS profiles, you can use them. For now, I just put 5 of them that are available for me. So you can use any SNS link you have with the matching icon. All right, I'll save it and I'll close this file. And here, for the first one, I'll call my SNS links class, and I'll get the GitHub. The first one is GitHub. You can see I have a GitHub icon, and it should open my GitHub page. For now, if you notice it, I have only this string that are kind of dummy value, so I did not put my actual SNS links. Okay, you should put them if you want to put your web profile into production mode. All right, so okay, now we can copy it and do the same for our other SNS profiles as well. Let's close the sidebar. So this one is LinkedIn, and the next one is Facebook, and next one is Instagram. Let's have that Instagram, and the last one is Telegram. Okay, Telegram, just like that. So if I save it, and if we try to open, click on any of these SNS icons, it should open a new tab. Let's try that. Okay, it's not opening any new tab. Let's see what kind of error we have. Let's see, what is that? It says, oops, let's try and see how it, oops, failed to execute open on window, unable to open window, invalid. Oh, okay, so basically you need to have a valid URL. Let's try that. So to this Instagram, I'll put a link, www.google.com. okay, let's try that. Okay, now let's try it. If I tap on this on Instagram icon, it should open a new tab. Okay, as you can see, we have google.com on a new tab. So that's the idea. I can close it. So you can basically do the same for all of these SNS variables. Okay, I'll close it. Now we have our contact section, all contact section ready. Let's make this const as well, and then let's make, okay, for this one let's leave them as it is, because we might need to have some dynamic variables that are assigned to our text fields. So for that's why we can just leave them as it is. We don't need to change them to const. Okay, and for this title we need to change it to const because there's nothing dynamic inside here. So we can save it, and we can come here. As you can see, we have our contact section, and that can be const, just like that. Finally, we have come to our last section, that is footer. Okay, first of all, let's add some spacing. So that is 30 for our section, and then let's open our Figma. Let's see what we have. As you can see, we have just this text at the center with some background. All right, so I want to copy this text, and let's close this. Oh, actually, let's take a look at the mobile version as well. The mobile version and desktop version is pretty much the same. All right, so let's close this. And now, first of all, instead of 500 for the height, we can make this 300. So width just stays the same, and for the child we can have text, and for the text I will put that copied value from our Figma, and then let's give this some alignment as well. Alignment dot center, and let's try to save it and see how it looks. Okay, as you can see, we have this text around here, and this looks kind of big, and let's change it to, I don't know, I think instead of height we can give some padding. Okay, let's try that. Padding edge insets dot symmetric dot, not dot, but vertical of 20. Let's try that. Okay, I think this looks pretty good. But on our Figma, if we take a look at that, it's kind of, I think, not primary white, secondary white, and font weight is also smaller. We can change the styling of this. All right, So text style, for the text style, first of all, I want to change the font weight. For the font weight, let's make this 400. And for the color, we can use our custom color. Custom color dot white secondary. All right, if I save it, okay, now this looks pretty well. Yeah, that's good. Let's make this const as well. Let's format it just like this, and let's grab this whole container widget with its child and put it in its own file as a footer widget. Okay, I'll just copy it just like that, and I'll come here inside our widgets folder. I'll create a footer widget dot not footer file, and here let's create a new widget, and the name of the widget will be footer. Okay, so footer widget is the same for both mobile and the desktop version of our website. All right, now we can have that footer, and then we can just put it right here, and if we import it, let's try to import it, and then let's save it. Okay, as you can see, this looks the same as before. Now let's try to uncomment all of our sections and see them together and see how it looks. Let's save it. Okay, as you can see, this is a mobile version of our profile. Let's change it to desktop. Okay, now this is desktop version. As you can see, this looks pretty good. All right, now all of it, let's try to type something just like that. Okay, and then what we can do right now is let's make this text field, message field, a little bit smaller. Let's change the max lines to a smaller value. Where is our contact section? Okay, here, our contact section. And for this one, I want to change, where is our message? Here, we have max lines 20. Instead of that, I want to change this to 16. Let's see how it looks. Let's try to scroll down. Okay, I think this is better than before. It's kind of, the height is a little bit smaller. All right, as you can see, there's a kind of little bit of freezing when we scroll it. That's because we are in debug mode. When we put it in production mode, it should work as expected. So we are done with our UI. Now it's time to work on the navbar button functionalities. When a navbar button is pressed, we want to move to that specific section. So basically, when we press on the skills button, that should move to that skills section. Or when we tap on this project section, it should jump to that project section down here. All right, that's what we are going to do. So first of all, we are going to move up here, and just right under this scaffold widget, we're going to create one scroll controller and assign that to our scroll controller variable. All right, so, and then what we are going to do is we come down here and we have this list view widget. We are not going to use this list view widget. Instead, we are going to use column widget and wrap it with single child scroll view, because if you want to move to a specific widget in the widget tree, you want that widget to be rendered beforehand. Otherwise, it's going to throw an error. Basically, that error tells you that your widget is not rendered yet, so you cannot show that widget on the UI. Okay, so that's why what we are going to do is we use column and we remove this scroll direction, and we wrap our column with a widget, and that is single child scroll view widget. Okay, and we are going to we're going to grab that controller property of it and assign our scroll controller to this controller. Okay, so and then let's actually assign scroll direction as well, axis dot vertical, so although that is a default value. And then what we want to do is we want to create a number of global keys. We want to specify a key to the widget we want to scroll to. Okay, so now I'll show you what I mean. Let's create a list, and that is going to be a list of global key. Let's name this variable to navbar keys, and that is going to be list.generate. We will generate a list of 4 items, and it will return global key. So basically this navbar keys variable will hold or holds 4 global keys. That is a key for each of our navbar items or navbar buttons up here, except for this block, because this block button, when it's pressed, it should open a new tab which should show our blog website. Okay, so and then what I want to do is come down here. I will grab these navbar keys and I'll assign that to, first of all, this home button. When this home is pressed, it should show this main section. Okay, it should actually basically scroll or jump to the top of the page. Okay, so that's why what I want to do here, instead of assigning the key to this header or header desktop or header mobile, I'll create one sized box here. Okay, sized box, and I will just assign the first key to this sized box. Okay, basically if we tap on this home button, we want to show this size, we want to jump to this sized box, which is the top of the page. Okay, so and then we will scroll down. Our main section is also visible when this top is visible. All right, so we can move down, and here on our skills section we will again get the key property of the container, and we put our navbar keys, and now we want to get the second item in the list. So that is going to be second global key in our navbar keys list. All right, then we move down again, and down here we have project section. All right, so to this one as well, we will get the key property and grab our list, global key list, and then we will get the third item in the list. Okay, now it's no longer const. Then we have contact section. So for this one, we can grab the key property again and get our navbar keys list. Then we will get the third item or fourth item in the list, right? So that's going to be our contact section. Now our keys are assigned to the widgets we need to jump to. There's one thing we need to change on our navbar buttons. That is, let's actually put this block at the end of our list of our navbar. Okay, because we can easily check if the items are if the index is 0, 1, 2, or 3. Okay, and then 4. Okay, if the index is 4, we can just jump open or call another function to open a blog website. Otherwise, all the other items will jump to a specific section. Okay, so now what I want to do, I'll come up here. We have header desktop, header mobile, right? So let's actually go to header desktop, and inside that header desktop we should have nav titles right here. Let's go there. Here we have nav items.dart file inside our constants folder. All right, so let's actually change this block just down here, okay, under the contact, basically the last item in the list. And let's grab this web icon as well and put it at the end of the list. Now, if I save it, the block should be at the end, as you can see, just like this. Now we can make this smaller, and on the mobile view, our block is at the end as well. All right, it's just you can actually leave it as it is and check for the condition of whether the index of the navbar item is 3 or not. Okay, I just wanted to deal with this as a last item. Okay, that's what I wanted as a preference. So I can close this nav items and header desktop as well for now. Now what we need to do is we need to deal with the tap functionality. When this is tapped, we need to move to that section. Okay, so first of all, let's come here. We have our, where is it? On the mobile, we have our drawer mobile, right? We go into that function, and here we will create, or we'll pass a function to this drawer mobile widget. So that will be function integer. We will pass an integer to that function or through that function, and that will be on nav item tab. Okay, now we can add that final parameter, and we will grab this on nav item tab, and we come down here and just right here on tab, we will call that function, and we pass the item or index of our navbar item. Okay, and then we'll come here. Okay, let's actually save it, and we will come to our home page again, home page file. Now we will remove this const because it's no longer const, and we need to assign that required parameter of drawer mobile widget, and it will have integer of nav index, navbar item index, and here we want to call our function. Okay, call function. So we will do that later. Now let's come down, and we have our header desktop. Let's remove this. Is it header? Yeah, header desktop. Let's go into that, and here we have the same pretty much similar UI, but as a row. Okay, basically this one. We have all of our navbars that are aligned or that are lined up as children of row widget. So here we'll come up here and we'll do the same. Final function will pass integer and the name of the function on nav menu tab. Was it like that? I think so. On nav tab or on menu tab. Let's add the final required parameter to this. Let's add the comma there to format it properly. Okay, and we will grab that on nav menu tab, and we come down, and just right here we can pass our navbar item index. All right, now we'll save it, and we come here and we'll remove that const again, and here we have that desktop, and we have the integer of nav index, just like that, nav index, and we will call the function to jump to a specific widget. That's what we are going to do right now. So now what we want to do, I want to scroll down all the way down, and here I want to create a new function that is void, and I'll name that scroll, let's say to section, scroll to section, and I'll pass a integer of nav index. Okay, I'll pass that, and then first of all I will check if nav index is equal to 4. If that's the case, I want to open a blog page, okay? And then I'll return from that. I don't want to do anything else, because this, if that's 4, that means user tapped on this blog navbar item or navbar button. All right, and we want to open a new tab with our blog page. So then, if that's not the case, we continue to our functionality of jumping to a section. So final key, I'll create a new key, and the key will equal to nav keys or navbar keys, and I'll grab the global key at the index of navbar index or navbar button index which is pressed. Okay, so and then I will use scrollable. Okay, scrollable. I'll use the scrollable, and I'll use the ensure visible method of that scrollable. All right, and I'll modify properties of this ensure visible method. All right, so duration, for the duration, let's make it const, and duration of, I'll make it milliseconds of 500. All right, and the next one, I want to change the curve or assign the curve of, let's have curves dot ease, let's say ease in out. Probably I think this should do it. Let's save it. Now instead of this context, I want to grab this key and get the current context, not state, but current context of this key. All right, and I want and that should not be null. So now if I save it, now let's actually try to jump to a section. Let's try to jump to skills section. Okay, it did not jump to a section. The reason because we did not call this function anywhere yet. Okay, we scroll all the way up here. Here nav index, our drawer mobile. Let's make this smaller so that our mobile version of the page is visible. Okay, now we have our navbars as a sidebar, this drawer, and I want to call my scroll to section function, and we need to pass an index which is nav item index. All right, so before we jump to a section, we want to close the sidebar as well. So how we do that, we have here scaffold key, current state, open drawer. Instead of that, we can call close and drawer. Okay, let's do that. Here, instead of that, close and drawer. All right, now let's save it. Okay, now let's open the sidebar and let's jump to skills section. All right, here as you can see, our skills section is visible. So if we try to jump to contact section, all right, it's working as expected. How about project section? All right, it's working just fine. Now we need to implement the same functionality to our desktop version. All right, let's make it bigger. If we do that, and if we try to tap on any of the buttons, it doesn't work because we did not assign this function to our header desktop yet. Okay, we just call that function inside here. If I save it, now if I try to tap on skills section, you can see the skills section is visible. If we try to go to project section, and then contacts. Okay, contact. So as you can see, we have these jumping to section functionality is ready, but we have this block. Okay, it doesn't do anything yet. So what we want to do here, we come all the way down to our scroll to section function, and here we will use that JavaScript which is shipped with Dart. Okay, JS. We already should have that JS, I think. Okay, let's go up. If we do not have that imported, we can just import it. Okay, let's try to import it. Import, and that is Dart.js. Let's import it as JS. All right, and we come all the way down here and we get the context and open call method that will be open, and then we pass our link to this call method. So that will be, we have SNS links. All right, SNS links dot, we don't have our blog link yet. That's why we come here and we can say blog, just like that. You can add your link down here, and I'll add my blog link, www.shohruhak.com, and I'll open specifically my tech blog. Okay, just like that, and I can save it. I can come here and then I'll just add that blog link here, and if we save it, now let's try to open our blog page. Okay, as you can see here, my blog page is open. All right, so that's it. Now we have that jumping functionality, and the functionalities of navbar, and that sidebar is also working. So let's try to clean up our code a little bit. Okay, basically removing unnecessary stuff from our code. For example, we don't need this height, and then we can add some spacing here. Let's remove unnecessary imports, this one and this one as well. We have this. We don't need these ones. So we have completed our Flutter web portfolio application. Now it's time to make it available on the internet. In this section, we are going to deploy our Flutter web portfolio application on the cloud so that everyone on the internet can access it. There are a lot of options for web hosting, but for this project I chose Netlify because that's easy to use and free to use. So basically, without any payment issue or without entering your card information, you can create an account, just a free account, and start deploying your application. All right, so first of all, let's build our Flutter application, and then we can try to open Netlify platform and upload our application on that platform. Okay, so before that, I want to show you one thing. So basically, let's go to contact section. If you remember, in our contact section, we had a bunch of SNS icons. If I scroll all the way down, we have this GitHub, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Telegram icons that point to our SNS portfolios, right? So basically, what we did before was something like this. We just defined the name of the file, that icon file .png, and that's what we did previously. But when we build our Flutter application with this value, it's not going to show up these icons. Okay, that's why we need to specify that assets / and then name of the file. Okay, so I actually placed that assets / before each of the icon file name. All right, just like that. Please specify that, otherwise when you build your Flutter application, it's not going to show up. Okay, the icons are not going to show up. Okay, I just want to remind you that. So let's save it, and I will close this. Now we can open up our terminal. Inside here, as you can see, my project is open in the terminal, and what I want to do, I want to build web application using Flutter command line. Okay, Flutter build web. If I run this command line, it is going to build a web application out of our, or it's going to compile our application into built version of our web app, all right, or Flutter app. Let's run this and wait a few seconds, or depending on your machine performance, it might take several minutes or it might take a few seconds. Okay, let's try that and wait a little bit. Okay, as you can see, now our web or built version of our Flutter app is ready. So how you check it is just like this. You come to this build folder. Inside this build folder, there should be web folder. Okay, this web folder is what we need. If you open that folder, you can see there are a number of files and folders. As you can see, assets, icons, and a lot of other files that we need to properly show our application on the browser. All right, so I'm going to reveal this on my Finder. Basically, find that, open that folder. As you can see, that I opened that folder, and now what we need to do is we are going to open up our browser. So let's open up our browser, and here what you want to do is go to app.netlify.com. Okay, go to this website, and there, if you do not have an account, create an account by signing up, or if you have an account, you can just log in with any of the options. Basically, I want to go for email. I will log in with email, and I'll create my credentials at gmail.com and my password. If I log in, it should open up my dashboard. Okay, now I'm on my dashboard. As you can see here, what I want to do is, okay, if your account is new, you might not have these projects, because I already deployed several projects. That's why I have a list of projects here. If you do not have any projects, you might have something like, your dashboard might be empty. Basically, what you need to do is find that add new site button. Okay, it might be different depending on your account. All right, if that's new, that might be somewhere else. If you have projects, it should be somewhere here. Add new site. Okay, if you tap on it, it will open up the drop down button, and there you have several options. What you need to do is select this deploy manually, because we are going to upload our project manually. So basically, what we need to do is grab that web folder that I showed you before, and just drag it and drop it just here. Okay, if you wait a little bit, it should upload your application and deploy it on the Netlify server. Okay, now the upload is done. It's basically now deploying it. All right, so what we need to do here, until it's done its own thing, let's actually go to this site configuration and try to change our site name. All right, so as you can see here, there is a button that says change site name. Okay, so instead of this dummy site name, I want to have my own site name. So let's say I want to go for Shohruh Dev. Okay, so that's what I want. Let's try to save it and see if it's available. Okay, that's available. We did not have any issue. Now let's try to go to this site overview and tap on this link. If you tap on this link, it will open up a new tab, and it tries to show your application. As you can see, our application is showing up properly. If we scroll down, all the sections are there, and you can see our links are also there, all of them. Now we can try to tap on the navbar buttons, or we can go to contact section. As you can see, everything seems to be working just fine. All right, so now let's try to open it or make it smaller so that we can see the mobile version of our application. Okay, as you can see, so basically the mobile version of our app will be something like this. All right, just like that. Let me move it here. Okay, now let's try it. As you can see, we can go to skills section, just like that, right? We can go to project section. All right, everything seems to be working fine. Okay, let's try to open our, I think this one should open Google. Let's see if it opens Google. Okay, right, that's right. That's basically what we want. Now, as you can see, our application is on the cloud. So anyone can type this name. If I try that, let's go to a different tab and paste that and try to open it. All right. If we open that, it should open our site. So basically, this is the name of my web portfolio. As you can see here at the end, it says netlify.app. That's because you are hosting your application on their server, and also you are using their domain names extension as your domain name extension. All right, that's why it says netlify.app. If you want to have a specific domain, like something like, let's say, shohadev.com, then you need to buy that domain and do some configuration on their dashboard here. All right, that's what it is. I hope this video is useful for you. If that's the case, consider subscribing to my channel, and also please press that like button. If you have any requests or any questions, you can leave a comment in the comment section.